welcome everybody to episode 115 of Fat Guys on the Little Podcast. I am your co-host, Steve, and always joined by
Charles is here.
And of course, via satellite from Chicago. Chi-town. BB, how you doing?
All right.
Or the white suburbs of Chicago.
Yes.
That's right.
Is the city still standing at this point, or is it just flames? And
as far as I know, it's still standing. I haven't been there.
Have they looted the Magnificent Mile lately?
I don't know.
What's the looting situation?
Did you get us any free iPads? That's what I'm trying to ask you. Oh, all right. God damn it, BB. How about an iMac? You give me an iMac?
No. He just gonna keep throwing out terms?
I just wonder how many BB might have got
Steve's
during the looting. All right, so this week
coded anyway.
What?
Aren't those coded so you can't use them if you steal them?
Maybe. I don't know.
I know a guy who got fired at the hotel for stealing them from a group a long time ago. They used the GPS in them, and then they tracked him down to his van in the employee lot. Yeah, it's crazy.
Dude, that's
back when like iPads were kind of rare before everyone had one.
Yeah.
This is probably every bit, like first gen iPads and stuff.
He had no idea there was a tracker.
No, dummy.
That's funny. All right, so this week we're going to, of course, get a little news update, and then we're going to try some of Jay-Z's cognac, which is, how do you think you pronounce that word, Bill, the name of the cognac?
It's Doucet.
Doucet. The Doucet.
Drop a Doucet.
Drop a Doucet cognac. So we're going to be trying that, and then we're going to get a little recap on the playoffs, and we're going to look some reviews and stuff, a whole bunch of stuff for you today. But first, we're going to start off with a recap of the Thursday night game. Bengals versus Browns. This was in Cleveland, and it was 35-30 Browns. Let's start with Bill. What are your thoughts on the game, Bill? Did you watch the game at all?
I watched most of it. I didn't watch the entire thing, but I went probably about 3/4 of it. It was more entertaining than I expected it to be because I don't find either team really all that interesting. Mm-hmm. The Browns should be a lot better than they are. The Bengals should probably be worse than they appear to be. But it shouldn't have been that close. They shouldn't have let them back in the game. And, yeah.
But, I mean, so we talked a little bit about pre-show and stuff like that. Do you guys believe in Joe Burrow, or you think it's kind of a fluky thing because his competition's kind of down?
I think he's played pretty solid the first 2 weeks.
Yeah, I think
comparing to
we had him dead to rights.
Yeah, I thought he'd be getting killed
along with LSU.
27-3 type games, and he's been competitive in both games. So I kind of impressed actually. Bill, your thoughts?
Yeah, he has looked pretty good. I'm not ready to, as Denny Green was saying, I'm not ready to crown him just yet. But yeah, a lot more impressed than I would have expected. I see what happens.
Just don't let him off the hook.
The caveat, yeah, there you go. The caveat that see what happens when they play stronger competition, and then see how defenses adjust after he has 3 or 4 weeks of film out there.
Yeah, that's true.
But a lot better than I expected him to be. He seems the part that I have been most impressed with him is he seems a lot more poised than your typical rookie quarterback. Doesn't seem like too many things get to him. So.
And he's got 10 days to play or practice for his next game, so at least he's got that because he played Thursday night, right? So it's usually 10 days before the game. I'll tell you how much I saw of the game: 0.0 because I have AT&T, who's still in a pissing match with the NFL Network, so I have no NFL Network.
I'm terrible. I don't watch Thursday Night Football. I just can't unless the Pittsburgh's playing and I make a point to watch it. It's just we talk about it before. Like sometimes the time commitment is just killing me with football right now.
Yeah.
It's like it's really tough, man.
Well, if you're on Facebook and I follow the NFL on Facebook, they usually put a recap of the whole. It's about 15 minutes long. They show you all the important plays. So I got the gist of the game. I just don't ever get to see the Thursday night game until it goes back to Fox or CBS or
so
whatever.
You're all about the highlights. And
yeah,
stuff like
what I end up. That's how I end up watching the third. But lucky for me, most of them are shit games anyways. But this last one was kind of decent. So. I don't know about the Browns. Like, if you look at their roster, especially on offense, that's a hell of a stacked team, kind of, if you look at it. Austin Cooper at tight end. They got Odell Beckham. They got Landry. They got Chubb and Lamar Hunt.
They got Chubb.
Yeah, I mean,
the 12-year senior Chubb.
yeah, I mean, they should be scoring at will in the first week against Baltimore.
Well, they were talking about. So I saw midweek that they were talking about trading OBJ and all that. Or did you guys see?
Yeah, I heard a little bit about that.
I don't know what the story is.
But then they used him a lot this week, so I don't think they'll be trading him.
I feel like any true star like receiver is just got turmoil based. Like no one is Jerry Rice anymore. If you notice that, they're all prima donnas and they all got drama attached to them. It's really weird.
It's like Divas Live.
Yeah, every time. It's crazy.
So, just so we know, some of us all have people in life, Burt Nolan, John Light, others that have wrote off the NFL, that they're never going to watch it again. And some of them may not be lying because the NFL's down 11 to 12% year over year.
But I didn't mean to cut you off, but like I have a theory on this. Is kind of what we talked about is the season kind of snuck up on us. There was no preseason.
Yeah.
There was no, and college is super weird and all this kind of stuff. So like all my usual markers to like NFL season starting were a little skewed. So I can make the argument that now if this is like week 4 and they still see a downside, like that might be time to like, okay, maybe there is something to this. Mm-hmm. But initially I'm going to say it could be just a little bit of confusion on people's parts would be my 2 cents.
Yeah. Or the diehard conservatives have said, fuck you.
What do you think? What is your opinion? You think it's the John Lights of the world?
Yeah, I think there's a big batch of in the middle of America that they're pissed off over that fucking kneeling shit, and they're just protesting and not watching.
Yeah.
But they still have fantasy teams and stuff and check stats on other websites, but they're not watching the games live. We'll do that.
Shenanigans.
Yeah, but and let's see if they make the whole year either. That'd be the real thing. Because especially with COVID and stuff, their numbers should probably be up higher because everyone's it should have time to watch it. But
in theory, everyone's at home.
Yeah, so anything entertainment wise with lower numbers means that something's happening there. But we'll find out in the coming weeks to see what, because that's gonna be a constant thing. Where every game we're gonna get who kneeled, who didn't kneel, and we're gonna get ratings.
You had a complete clusterfuck with my team with. Villanueva had he wrote out someone's name and then put someone else on there and then someone else. It's been a whole thing. The Rooney family had to come out and talk about people can support whatever way they want to. It's a whole cluster of protests and everything that happened in Pittsburgh this past week. It didn't because Villanueva's come out. He was one of the ones that didn't want to kneel for the anthem with him being a vet and all this kind of stuff. It got real weird. A couple of people said that they didn't support it because they didn't know the whole story behind it because they put the name on the back of the helmet and it's the whole thing.
I don't know. And then this week, I don't know if you saw it. This is locally. Bill probably wouldn't have saw that. Matt Stafford put out a blog.
Yeah.
About,
on the Freep or something like that?
Yeah, or Sports Illustrated. I'm not sure where. Yeah, big, we don't need to just shut up and play football. We need to wake up. It's fine. At least he did it on his own time or whatever. But it's going to rattle some cages, I already know.
Do you check out Sports Center, or Sports Talk, rather, after that? Did you see?
They didn't cover it. I didn't hear much talk about it. So maybe that's something they're saving for next week. If the Lions go out and lose again, they're like, why are we listening to this asshole? He makes $100 million and he sucks. As
long as you win. Man.
Yeah. If he starts winning, they'll maybe listen to his message. But so that's here. Is Mitch Trubisky making any blog posts down there in Chicago about equal rights?
Not that I'm aware of.
Oh, okay.
I think he's just happy that he had a good second half and basically saved him from being jettisoned out after the first week.
He had a good fourth quarter. That was not even a second half. All right, so now
I wasn't watching the game that closely, so
BB checked out.
That's all we had. So you're a Democrat, you're a Republican, you're independent, whatever you are. Must see TV September 29th. I thought they were going to avoid this. I thought the Democrats didn't want to do a debate because that orange idiot's going to fucking tear him up like a stand-up comedian.
It's going to be bad.
I got to see this. I'm not even into politics.
Well, did you see this, too? They're calling for, Joe Rogan to moderate a debate.
Are you serious?
I don't know what's going on.
Well, I heard it's Mike Wallace, right?
No, yeah, but someone's saying that, if you want a true debate, have Trump with Joe Rogan moderate.
Why Joe Rogan? Who brought that up?
Yeah, it was huge all over the internet.
Who brought that up? Joe Rogan brought that up?
No, he had nothing to do with it. People were just talking. Man.
So I got to see this one. Bill, any interest in the must-see first debate of the presidential candidates?
Yeah, I'm going to watch, but this is, if this for some reason is not a complete and total train wreck, I'll be shocked.
Oh, it's got to be. That's what I got to watch.
I'm hoping that there will at least be the possibility for, I don't know, a quarter of the time to be used to actually debate issues. I'd like to, find out, where people are.
This is a Trump debate, BB. I don't know
whether
He's going to come
Trump
right out the
actually
right
has,
gate.
Yeah, whether Trump even has any actual positions. No, it's a Trump debate. So basically, it's going to be
It's
just
gonna be a WWE
shot after shot after
match.
shot.
Sleepy Joe, Creepy Joe. That's
You
all
sniffing
coming.
hair, Joe.
He's gonna pick Biden apart with nothing substantial whatsoever. It's gonna be like sitting in the lunchroom at in high school. Just
Basically,
That's why I
it's
got
like yo mama jokes. the whole time.
yeah.
They may end up punching each other. I'm not even sure. I gotta watch this. This is gonna be. I don't care which way you swing. It's gonna be entertainment at its best. I swear. So that is September 29th. And right before that, 5 days before that.
Pause for a second.
Yes.
Have you seen how many Biden ads are on YouTube and all these channels?
Oh my God!
Holy, how much money is behind him right now?
We have a habit of watching local news. There was one
That's a bad habit you need to get rid of.
one commercial break. It was rotated Biden Trump ads the whole 2 minutes, and then it went back to the news. I was like, was there any ad for anything else? It was insane.
There was like a 2-week period on YouTube where every time you go to watch a video, the commercial or the ad that came up before it was Biden asking for money. Thought we're trying to reach our quarterly goal, and
oh wow,
yeah.
You know, ones we're getting pumped with here in Michigan. How many John James commercials have you seen?
Gary Peters.
Those
man.
two guys
they're
are
going
just-
toe to toe.
They're dropping mad bank on advertisement. I was like, God,
He's
Ugh.
over here hugging Betsy DeVos.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Never had to see John Jones's white wife one more time. Our son has an existing condition.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I know what their son has. I know how long he's been married. It's like
And the best part is, as we're saying, is like your Facebook feed's getting full of
yeah, it's reading it. John James commercials. Put it on there. All right. So 5 days, I'm sorry, right before the debate. Guess what's coming back, Charles? It's not theaters. It's Big Ten football's coming back. So why, Charles? Why are they coming back?
What do you mean, why? For money. I mean, there's a simple answer. What are we discussing here? Like, there's
Do you
not
think
much-
all the protesting parents and all the pressure?
No,
they
it's
came?
purely like they looked at it and were like, hey, wait a second. Like, they're still able to play and make a ton of cash here, right?
Yeah.
We're missing out on our ton of cash. Where's our ton of cash? So then they all of a sudden were like, you know what? The world's okay now. We're going to play
Yeah,
ball.
yeah. So you might get the sniffles.
Yeah, it's a complete crock of shit, dude. And yeah, like BV said kind of pre-show, what do they do with the playoff? What do they? It's such a weird year. I don't know, man.
Well, there can't be any playoffs. Well, they're going to be.
There's
but-
gonna be, yeah. But
Bill-
to BV's point, it's gonna be an asterisk.
Bill, your thoughts on the Big Ten coming back?
Okay, well, I mean, you could take this directly from the title of a Tony Kornheiser book. The Big Ten is back for more cash.
That's the name of his book.
They don't want the other Power 5 conferences making money that they're not getting to. So jump back in. Yeah, the whole thing with the playoff, they're going to do one. Not even all 5 of the power conferences are even playing, but I mean the Pac-10 is usually not involved in the playoff anyway. But
yeah, but you never know. Give them another couple weeks, they might. I mean,
Yeah,
granted, the
that's true.
whole
That's true.
coast is on fire, but yeah.
they could come back, but I have a hard time. I understand that the same teams will probably still be there, but they're not playing anything but a scaled down conference schedule. Will I watch the playoff? Yeah, but I'm not going to give it
you
any
do so under
legitimate-
protest. Is that?
well, no, it's just I'm not going to consider it to be legitimate at all. I'm not looking at. Let's put it this way: if my Tide were to win the national championship, I'm not going out and buying any title gear.
I fucking Notre Dame wins. I'm going to give me some Notre Dame. I'm taking it. Fuck that.
Yeah.
Like, screw all you. I'd be like, go buy
Remember
my
that
hat.
2020 cocksucker?
Yeah, I know. Only highlight of the year.
Half the world was wearing masks. He's like, I don't care.
I know. God damn it. Give me that. Give me that leprechaun with a mask
It's a
on.
legit win.
That's right. I don't give a fuck. So now, also during the Notre Dame game, they were talking about it. The MAC is now looking at coming back because everyone's just jonesing for MAC.
I need that Eastern Michigan football.
I know. So
Can't tell you how many weekends are going to go by where I'm just like, oh my God, how would the Eagles and the Chips do? I just need to know. Like, what a joke.
Nobody
man.
knows about the Pac-12 because no one can breathe on the West Coast. So I
Yeah,
don't know.
yeah.
They got two things against them:
I
COVID
tell
and
you
the
what,
fires.
man, these stadiums are hitting their 20%. The Georgia Tech,
Notre Dame had a crowd,
they're all hitting 20%, no problem. So
Yeah.
there's people that want to go.
So there you go, Big Ten coming back. Now, Bill, you're our SEC expert. When are they coming back? I was looking for them today.
They start next weekend.
Next weekend. Okay, so we're gonna get some Bama football next weekend.
So who's gonna play like Georgia, Jacksonville State, or whatever?
Alabama will somehow.
Yeah, they're not playing. SEC is not playing a non-conference.
Oh my God, who's gonna win? Like,
they're gonna dress.
So who's
Coastal
Bama
Carolina.
gonna play at the last week of the year? Like, wait a second.
I think it'll still be Auburn.
Who's going to play Morehead State?
Alabama is going to dress Morehead State as South Carolina and make them come play, so they get that one cream puff in.
Selling you, man. That late season, like,
I know.
What? Who are they playing?
Yeah, it's like week 12. It's like, who are these fucks?
Even BV can't defend that. That's suspect as shit.
Yeah, they do that every year. They might as well just get. I'd be less offended if they just took a bye that last week.
Hey, you gotta have the tune-up game.
Yeah, pounded on some high school. Like Bill would say, quote BV, the squash match, right? For the real match.
Yeah, I don't know why they do it like.
Well, we know why.
Season,
dude. It's
no,
right
I don't know
before
why they I don't know why they schedule a random, cupcake opponent that late in the season.
Because there King Kong Bundy in it.
Because we played every week. Meanwhile, it's a bye week. To Steve's point.
Yeah.
No, we played all the way up until. No,
they still have buys too. Alabama does. We got buys and Coastal Carolina.
All I'm going to say to that is that they're not. By far, not the only team that does it.
No.
But
not.
Bama is. You got to admit, Bama's notorious.
They do it very late in the season.
That late season squash.
A lot of people do it in the first 3-4 weeks.
Like, they're playing Towson like week 9. Like, what is this?
Well, I mean, you can pick apart.
Georgia State needs to get a payday too.
They got tuitions down there. They need some money. So. Now back to COVID a little bit. My daughter again is in volleyball. She had a game this Thursday. They were going to let 2 parents per child up there to watch the games, and then last minute they posted on Facebook and said no. So what we are allowed to do now is they live stream it on Facebook. But here's the kicker. Whoever's live streaming it might have Parkinson's because there's so much shaky camera.
Shaking?
I thought I was watching Cloverfield.
Oh, that's it. We got to take the show on the road.
Oh,
Steve.
my God.
You can commentate.
Yeah.
All right.
I was like, who is taping this?
That's it. We got the whole rig here. We got to go. Oh,
I'm going to brag a little bit how he did score 5 points in one game. 4 serves in a row. And
go, Dad, go.
Yeah, I got to brag a little. Well, she made me sit through it. I was bad father. I didn't even watch it.
On a stream, you couldn't take it. You were like, I gotta go.
Well, no, I just forgot it was on, and then Holly came home and put it on. Like, we gotta watch this. Watch where I serve. I serve real good.
Man, she's like, look, Dad.
Yeah. She was very excited. So,
that's cool.
Also, now, unlike Charles, I have not bought $5,000 worth of gym equipment.
Oh no,
I do have a rope I bought for $25 and some cinder blocks I bought for $6.
I'm way past that.
Yeah, Charles got a little higher budget than I do.
Just a little.
I went back to Planet Fitness this week.
Did you?
Yes, I did.
What was the experience? Tell us.
I love it because even at prime time, I walked in at 6 p.m. at a gym, only 9 people in the place.
Oh, so it is people definitely dial back.
That is fantastic. If that stays that way, terrific. Wow. There's no one near you. I mean, there's no one near you. You
feel pretty confident.
I feel pretty fine.
Were you wearing a mask the entire time?
That's the only thing that sucks. You have to wear a mask. They have health inspectors coming in and out all the time. I was talking to the guy working the desk. I was
so
like,
you're watching like all of a sudden like a stadium comes rolling in. You're like,
so I asked the guy, I was like, so I just got to wear the mask to the machine and I can take it off? He's like, no, leave it on. Because they're sending state inspectors to all our franchises coming in and out of these gyms.
So they're on them.
They're on them, at least for the first couple of weeks. Yeah. So it is annoying. But the one thing nice about Planet Fitness, they had those giant ceiling fans.
Yeah.
So you do get a lot of breeze coming at you. I wouldn't play like racquetball with that mask on.
I gotta tell you though, I think you're gonna see a cardiovascular benefit to work. It's like those people that do those altitude change or training and stuff.
I can say that guy had one of those masks on.
Yeah, I mean it's really. I mean I don't want to. I'm not sitting there saying like, hey, you want to go grab a mask, but I don't think it's as detrimental as people would say. I'm more concerned of. I guess I was more concerned of what you had said. So, like, we're back to riding the employee shuttle and stuff like that. It's really sparse. But I get concerned for is when it starts to fill in. I think that's the scarier part to me.
Yeah, right
now.
Until
I get a poke in my ass, I'm like, dude, don't fill in, man. Give me some room. Give me some room, people.
Right now, it's great. It's like your personal gym. You go there, there's nobody around. Only downside is wearing that stupid fucking mask.
Are they super Nazi about you wiping stuff down?
Well,
they always have been.
And pretty much everyone there, mostly women still are, Yeah, out of the 9 people there, I'd say 5 of them are women, 4 guys. So
Curiously, did you go into like the locker room
Yes,
facilities?
yes.
How was that? Was there any?
I did not
changes
take a
in
shower, but
procedures or
everything. No,
anything?
everything's open. The only thing you got to do if you take a shower, tell them at the desk so they send someone in to clean the shower right after that.
Wow.
So, but I will give credit out of all the gyms. Believe it or not, my fat butt has been in a lot of gyms.
You can tell by looking.
Yeah,
at
I know. I mean,
You're
look at
looking
me.
tight today.
It's like, yeah, I know. It's like Hulk Hogan, prime Hulk Hogan in the '80s. But LA Fitness is hand down the dirtiest fucking gym I've ever been. in LA Fitness is always dirty.
And again, I've gone down a whole rabbit hole with getting the extra exercise equipment here and all that kind of stuff. And I'm not going to go to a public gym anymore because I've spent tens of thousands of dollars.
kind of counterproductive for you.
Yeah, like I went way beyond the membership to do everything here. But my point is, I still like a Planet Fitness. I don't know. People can get on me about whatever. I think for the average person, it's kind of like those people when me and you talk about like giving computer recommendations to a lot of people.
Yeah.
You don't need to buy a super high-end computer if you're not going to use it all.
Yeah.
And my argument to a lot of these people that are going to Planet Fitness, it's probably about enough gym for them.
Yeah, those guys in Ohio that are weightlifters.
Yeah, Westside Barbell.
Yeah, they won't go to Planet Fitness,
Yeah,
but anyone
you
else
know,
could probably
yeah,
manage at Planet Fitness.
And like you said, really nice facilities and stuff. I got no
By the
issue.
way, if you want to sponsor the podcast with Planet Fitness,
I mean,
give
I
us a
do like
call.
their product, man. I do. I really do. I'm
And
a big
I
advocate.
spend the $20 a month so I can go to any gym.
Yeah, you get the black membership.
Yeah, so
or
that
whatever
way
it's
I can
called.
rotate between that one and the one down in Taylor, or sometimes when I go out and visit Birdie, as one by him. So, or in Cincinnati where Gabe is, there's one. They're all over the country,
Yeah.
so it's like you can always find.
But I
one.
mean, Gabe's a little more. Gabe's into that Wigs camp, but a little more hardcore. So
Yeah.
it doesn't really apply for him.
He's an LA Fitness guy.
Yeah, but
But Wiggs isn't LA Fitness anymore.
what does Wigs do?
Crunch. He's a big Crunch guy now.
Well, I don't know much about Crunch, but I
think it's like if you took LA Fitness here with the hardcore stuff and the gyms and the
kind
classes.
of in between.
Yeah, it's in between Planet Fitness and LA. It's like right in that sweet spot.
But again, Planet Fitness, man, they really do take care of their facility. I can't say that enough. I can't speak for every franchise. Like the other ones might be a little different, but I know the few that me and you've gone to, I've never
been in a dirty Planet Fitness.
Yeah, it's really good.
And every other gym, Powerhouse, LA Fitness, there's been plenty where it's like, dude, LA Fitness, when the guy's leaving his drawers in the shower, it's like, what the fuck? How can Planet Fitness be so clean and LA Fitness be so dirty? I have no idea.
And if you think about it too, like, so when I was going to Planet Fitness, it's only $10 a month.
Yeah, if you just go to the one location,
Yeah, I mean, dude, you know how, like, again, my tens of thousands of dollars I bought in exercise equipment in the past 6 months, it's going to take me 55 years worth of Planet Fitness memberships to ever come close to that.
Yeah, that is true.
It is a great
But you won't have to
value.
wear a mask in your basement.
Yeah, I know.
So you got an advantage there.
I guess because of what I do for a living, I do a lot of drywall work, and I do a lot of work where I've had to wear PPE for 8 hours at a time and stuff. The mask thing is really not that big a deal to me. I don't want to get political on this show because we're not that way, but it doesn't. I rock
I can
mine.
wear one
It doesn't bother me.
The only thing be the elliptical. If I get it going pretty fast, that's a little annoying to have a mask on there because you got to breathe a little heavier.
I get you.
But like walking on a treadmill, weightlifting,
Yeah,
it's
what are
all
you doing?
fine.
Yeah, I don't know.
Bill, any thoughts? Would you go to a gym?
Right now, probably not.
Yeah.
But if I were to go to one, I think I'm with you. I wouldn't go spend a ton of money on a real fancy one. I'm sure Planet Fitness would be more than sufficient. So
Yeah.
and for $10 a month. But before you move on, by the way, too, there's a little bit of an aside here with respect to the tens of thousands of dollars in workout equipment. I'd like to just state for the record, Mr. John Charles Van Damme, that love the leg stretcher.
John Charles.
I look forward to seeing you do the split foot chairs here soon.
It's so fun. I wasn't going to talk about it this
So by
week.
next week when we come over, you should be able to do the splits right in front of us on the
So
podcast.
It is.
I want to see you like in full Breck Nolan mode.
I want to see you put your
so
foot on
fun.
top of there and the foot there. Just
Oh
open
my
it up.
god! And you know what's funny is Heather can nail it. Heather gets up to like 13,
She
14.
has a vagina. That's why. I don't know.
If you got the meat and 2 veg, man, it's hard. Let me tell you. I don't know how Van Damme does it. I'm maybe if I'm at like a 45 degree of that.
When
like,
I lay on
it
the
is
ground on my
unbelievable.
back and I just put my leg up for Michelle to push it for me, I can't even keep my legs straight. I'm so bent. It's like, my ligaments are so tight.
No flexibility.
I'm like a G.I. Joe guy with that rubber band in them. It's just ready to pop at any minute.
Twisted at any
Yeah.
given point, man.
Yeah.
You're done.
And we're both like that.
It's super fun.
I think
though.
we get that from our grandfather.
Yeah, I think it's just when you're just this corn-fed white guy. I don't
Yeah,
know
it's
what
like
it is. Like
you're just not very bendy.
I go in one direction. And that's it. Like,
One speed, one direction.
That's it.
dude, just go corn-fed white guy.
All right, so let's take a little look at some playoffs. They're starting to wind down. We now have our Stanley Cup Finals. The first game is tonight.
Hey, hold on, let me pause you. Have you been frequenting the show? Or are you still watching a little bit of hockey or anything?
I
like
slacked
that?
off this week because I was stuck with Yellowstone with Michelle. I was
man,
cracking it
you're
out
hanging out
so
by
I could cancel
Yellowstone.
Peacock.
Yeah, you gotta get off
we
before the charge
got,
hits.
like, we gotta get 2 hours in because I gotta cancel
Yeah.
Peacock by Thursday. Yeah, so I didn't get to see a lot this week. But the first game is 7:30 tonight. It's the Dallas Stars taking on the Tampa Bay Lightning. Bill, who you like in that one?
I like Tampa.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. Charles, any thoughts?
I would be just guessing right now. Just like I said, I haven't watched much of the. I'm way more into the basketball. I think I just the basketball's doing it a little more for me. Although I kind of feel like it's a little rigged. We'll get into that here in a second or two.
okay, all
but
right.
anyway.
So
I
right
was
now,
100% guessing too. By the way,
yeah,
I haven't watched more than like 5 minutes of this entire NHL
I've
playoff.
seen Tampa Bay play. Tampa Bay is pretty solid.
Yeah.
Tampa
just
Bay's
going
been
off-
pretty solid for a
I've-
few years now.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Steve Eisman did the right thing when he built that.
Yeah,
So
he's
people are
got-
praying he does that for the
Yeah,
Red
wow.
Wings. So there we go. Dallas and Tampa Bay tonight at 7:30. If you're a big hockey fan, it's on NBC Sports
Network,
Channel
yeah,
Network.
SN.
Or you can watch Channel 9 if you're in Detroit area. And then we go into the NBA. And now this week, a big upset happened, right? No one thought the Clippers, especially when they're up 3-1,
Yeah.
was going to lose to the Denver Nuggets. The Nuggets defeated the LA Clippers 4-3 to now take on the Lakers. Where
It just, and that's what I was kind of saying. So again, I'm a little more knowledgeable of basketball, not
Okay.
super huge into it, but like
Yeah.
it feels like they need LeBron. Like it's just super weird. So like almost the Clippers wouldn't have been an easy enough path in a weird way. I don't know how else to describe it. Like it just seems like because everyone went, like you said, when the Nuggets went, everyone's like, wait, what? The Nuggets just like it don't make sense. So I don't know.
yeah, well, I guess they play. That's why we play the games, right?
Yeah, I guess.
And then, but then the Lakers turned around and just blew out Denver that first game. It was like one. What was the final score, Bill? You happen to know? It wasn't close. I know
I
that
can
much.
bring it up. It was
They were up by 30 at one point.
yeah.
yeah, I think it ended up being like about 19, but
So now you're gonna have LeBron versus the Heat in theory. You know.
yeah, looks that way. Well, the thing is too is I mean you mentioned they came back from 3-1. They were the first team in history to come back from 3-1 twice in one playoffs.
Yeah,
So they've done that 2 series in a row.
looks like they're gonna have to do it again this series.
It was the
Playing from
game.
behind.
The game one was 126-114.
But
Well,
that
it-
wasn't
it-
to your point. That
it was
wasn't-
the Nuggets outscored the Lakers by 12.
They got
in
some
the-
Matt
it was
Stafford
garbage
points
time.
at the end of
Yeah,
that
they
game.
pad Stafford there.
Yeah.
So that one's going on, and then of course Miami with Jimmy Butler. They just keep beating people. I don't. Boston.
I feel like Boston kind of blew its load though. in a
Yeah,
weird
Boston
way.
was
It's
in a-
not- Yeah.
They were winning, and they went to overtime, and well,
Yeah, it's almost like just Boston's almost like just done.
and now they're imploding and yelling at each other. What are you gonna
Yeah.
say, Bill?
They blew it last night too.
Oh, yeah.
Against they were up, they were down, and then it was tight going towards the end, and they just
can't
basically
get it together.
at the end. Yeah.
Well, if things hold serve, it should be the Lakers and the Miami Heat in the finals. But we got a long way to go yet for them. So, and Denver, you can't count them out. They get that 3-1. They might come scrapping back.
You can count them out.
BB's calling it.
Bill's calling it. So, and we do have it. And stay tuned. A little later, we're gonna get the BV cold lock of the week.
Yeah.
So Bill does know maybe more than the rest of us. Now, I pulled up an article the other day of this celebrity hooch because we need to promote these poor people because they don't have enough money.
There's a lot of celebrity hooch though.
Oh,
to
it
your
was. It was a
point.
long
Yeah,
list.
You got into
One of
that.
my favorite ones. There's a Ron Jeremy whiskey.
Can you have that right now? Did you mean Me Too right now?
I
Is
don't
it
know.
like-
It's
I
sold
think
out
he
everywhere. I
is.
couldn't find it.
Yeah.
But I ended up with how do you say this again, Bill?
Douce.
Douce cognac.
Deuces.
This is a French cognac that is imported and is part by Jay-Z.
So,
So-
we're live on camera one there. if you
Yeah,
want to
so-
show it.
If you can see this,
I like the
It
bottle.
looks
It's a
like a
beautiful
wizard
bottle.
potion bottle.
Yeah.
I'm gonna throw it at Charles. He's gonna turn into a giant.
Yeah.
so
So that's a 375 mil. Is that what that is, or is that a 750
Yes.
mil?
yeah,
It's a 375.
You got a 375 2 BV out your way?
Yeah, because the 750 was like $50.
yeah. This was
Oh,
26.
okay. Oh wow.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
not cheap. I went to Party Palace. I bought those popsicles that were at 19. Bought this, and then Holly like $1. And they're like $55. Like, what?
Oh, we jumped hard.
Yeah, I was like, what happened?
Yeah, my cognac of choice for a 750 is $50, but I know I like that, so I wasn't about to pay that.
Which one? What's the cognac? What's the yak of
Pour
choice?
some in
for
the glass.
BV?
My yak of choice is the Remy Martin 1738.
Okay.
Oh, wow, that sounds.
I
very
know that a
official.
lot of people I work with prefer the VSOP. What is I don't know. There's a VSOP Remy that people are way into.
Yeah, that's so yeah. So cognac, much like bourbon or excuse me, it's actually like brandy and cognac are very close to each other. So VS is sort of like the standard sort of base level. VSOP is a higher grade, usually more smooth.
Ooh, that
It'll often
smells
go up like
strong.
beyond that. We'll go to an XO and then you go further along.
Now, Bill, as a cognac connoisseur, are you supposed to just sip this? How are you supposed to drink?
Yeah,
cognac?
this is meant to be sipped. You can shoot it. I prefer mine on the rocks. So
A little ice
like,
in there. Me and Steve are just gonna go room tempe. Is what we're gonna
Yeah,
do
so-
here.
yeah.
So first of all, smelling it, it smells like Robitussin. That's exactly what I thought it smelled like.
Ooh, a little strong.
For cognacs, it's relatively smooth. It's not Remy smooth, but it is smooth.
Feels like if I lit a match and breathed out
Oh
of the
my
fire.
God, Steve!
Well, this is.
I gotta
heat
tell you,
proof.
if I'm being honest though, I'd take this over a lot of the other liquors we've had on this show. I don't know if you have an opinion, but like when it comes to like
It's not beating proper 12.
Yeah, you love some proper 12. That speaks to
Oh, my
Steve's inner
goodness.
Irishman.
That is
Steve.
just foul, man. That was
That's
not-
some good shit,
Hey, you
man.
like what you like. That's the way I look at
Yeah,
it.
that's true. I mean,
I'll
he
take
also
this
liked-
way over the Scotch.
Yeah, well, the Lagavulin, not even close.
Yeah,
this
this-
is 10
this is
times
better than Scotch.
Lagavulin.
Bill, thoughts? Cognac or Scotch? Which
Well,
one are you going with?
I like cognac better than Scotch.
Because you don't like burnt wood in your mouth?
There's no question that Scotch was a much higher quality, relatively speaking. But I prefer the taste of this.
I gotta tell you, out of all the hard liquors we've had, out of all the celebrity between the Aviation Gin, the Casamigas Aquila, how many we've had like 78 of these things at this point. We're episode 115, and 100 of them have been celebrity tequilas.
The other 15 have been Pringles.
Yeah, dude, it's crazy. I'll take this over a lot of the things. I'm just being honest. Like it's still got that
it's not
Tuscany
terrible.
vibe to it. It's not terrible. That's a glowing endorsement.
I mean, could you mix it with some Coke or something?
You could never do
Yeah, in fact, that's actually what I just decided to do.
Oh, see, Bill, look at him.
that. What the hell, BB?
Cognac and Coke. Or Diet Pepsi. Cognac and Diet Pepsi?
No, this is I got Coke Zero for this.
Oh.
Got to worry about them calorics. It's not bad.
Yeah, the thing is, 20 minutes from now, I'm going to be all hot from drinking this. We always do that. Hey, what? Someone turn the heat up in here?
It's got that Tuscany cognac vibe to me, though, man. It's
It
got
burns. It burns all the way down. I think I'd rather
Um,
shot it than drink it slow.
I'll tell you, I'll never come home and be like, you know what I need? Some Douce cognac right now. Like, it's never going to happen. But if I'm
The
honest,
bottle will look cool up there with the other ones.
Oh, completely. And like I said, if I'm being honest,
Now, if you had to have this or the Snoop Dogg red wine,
I'd have this.
yeah, I think so.
The only other liquor I'm a rum guy. We figured that out over these many randomness that we've done. The orange vanilla rum is delicious, and then I like that one vanilla moonshine we had. Like the flavored moonshines are delicious too.
I was drinking apple pie moonshine the other night, last Friday. Me and Michelle had a couple shots of that.
Oh, look at you, just sitting around the house, just
Yeah,
getting ripped, dude. Look
I was
at
like, why
Steve.
not? I had 3
Yeah.
shots.
Look at this Steve.
Yeah, the
Helps you sleep better.
cognac is particularly good if you're into cigars. They're good with cigars.
I'm just being honest.
Is it good with pussy?
Oh, hello.
Well,
Jesus.
I was actually I had a crack ready to go if this was horrible. That instead of Douce, I'm gonna call it Dussy. 'Cause it tastes like Dussy. But Yeah, no, it's not bad.
So you're gonna give this a thumbs up, BV? What do you at?
Yeah, I'd give it a 6.5 or 7. It's I wouldn't replace my Remy with it or anything like that, but I would certainly drink it over. I'm not a big fan of Hennessy at all. It's way too harsh for the cognac. I'd probably put it on par with Courvoisier, which I like quite a bit as well.
Courvoisier.
Steve, where are you at on this? What's your final verdict? What's
it's no proper 12, but I mean it's fine. Definitely better than the wine. I've never want to drink wine
Wine
again.
is so gross.
This is not bad. I'm a Bill about 6, I would say,
Yeah.
and it's way better than the Scotch. The Scotch is I don't ever want to see that again.
Chewing on
I don't
liquid
want to
charcoal.
smell that
Well,
again.
That was a pretty extreme Scotch as far as like the wood flavor that was with it. That was really.
Dude, that was the
Yeah,
epitome
that's-
of some charcoal, dude. That was
You
great.
really have to have a palate that is, far more. I mean, and I liked it, but you have to have a palate that's far more, evolved than mine.
I got
to
news for you.
actually
That was
appreciate it.
way too advanced for me. I gotta tell you, I think this is pretty good as far as liquors. So I'm gonna give this as far as liquors, it's an 8 for me. As far as what I would drink, it's like a 4. But that's just what I
How
mean.
quick
Like,
do you think? How much would you have to drink of that to get fucked up?
me?
Yeah.
Probably this glass. I'm a lightweight. I don't drink. It's not my thing. But I
Yeah,
gotta
a couple
tell you.
glasses, I'm probably feeling pretty good. Probably super hot.
What's the alcohol by volume on that, BV? You
It's
got
40%, 80 proof.
40%, so it's not crazy or nothing like that. So
Yeah.
I gotta get.
If you were mixed with. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead. Yeah.
I say if you were mixing it with Coke, I think you could get through half to 2/3 of the bottle before you'd really be.
That'd be expensive.
Blasted.
$26 a bottle.
Yeah.
You know how much beer I can get for that price?
Yeah. No, it's not bad.
Yeah,
Not bad
it's
at
all right. So Jay-Z knows what he's talking about. It's French. I did say in the article that it's a French cognac.
Well, cognac is by nature French because
well,
it comes
okay.
from the region.
Well, there you go. I didn't know that.
Things Steve
There
is today years
and a
old.
little blurb they just said
Yeah.
he fell in love with it when he visited France. So I was like, all right, okay. So Douce, like Pousse, is pretty good, decent.
It does burn though.
Yeah. Ooh, I don't know if I could drink a lot of that.
I'm not gonna drink a lot of it, but I'm just telling you.
Maybe
Thumbs up.
Maybe we'll find the adult popsicles for next week. I don't know. Or maybe we'll just find some random food. I don't know. Maybe we'll figure it out.
More Pringles.
No Pringles. No Pringles.
See, there's a
Pringles are
Pringle.
not allowed. They are banned from the podcast forever. All right, so there you go. Douce Cognac from Jay-Z. Go out and buy it because he's a struggling artist that barely makes any money. So,
It's a little on the pricier side, so just be
yeah,
aware.
$26 for
He's
a
only
little
worth
bottle.
$1 billion.
Yeah, I mean, so
Help him
Help
out.
support your local artist.
yeah. All right. So now the reason I didn't see a lot this week because I was finishing up Yellowstone season 2 on Peacock Network. It was
So does this put you up to date with
no,
Yellowstone?
there's a season 3, but season 3 is in limbo. It's that limbo time before it goes to streaming. So if you want to see it, you got to spend like
So
$20
we just
on
finished
Amazon.
airing, but we're not the streaming service.
Yeah. So it's like right between, and it's not on demand. So it's like I got to figure out if I want to pay for it or not. Season 2 kept up pretty much the quality from season 1. They did do kind of like a Game of Thrones / HBO move. So the first season had a lot of tits, ass, and sex. This one kind of cut out a lot of that stuff. So if you're expecting a lot of there's sex in it, but it's like PG-13 sex where you just see like an ass or something. So they really toned that down in the second season.
I'm surprised they had it in the first, honestly.
Yeah, I was too.
With it being on Paramount.
Yeah, so they toned that quite a bit down. And the other problem I had with the first season was the one character, I think his name is Jamie or Kelsey, where I told you he had drama every episode.
Yeah. He
They-
was
They dialed that back. So now the drama, Charles is dying.
That's all right.
The drama was throughout the whole family, not just one character running into things every episode. And the other thing I didn't like, and this is about episode 8 or 7. So Kevin Costner's daughter-in-law on the show is 26 years old. She's a young Indian woman, but from a distance, she just looks like a white girl with long black hair is what she looks like. But they weaseled the scene in. They had nothing to do with the show, where she goes to a boutique in downtown
and she
Wyoming.
faces like discrimination. or
Yes, the
something
woman
like that.
calls the cops on her just because of her skin color. And it was like, I always wanted that little Wayans brother to come out. Message! You ever seen the movie? Never mind. Yeah, Bill knows what I'm talking about. It had nothing to do with the show. It didn't add to the story or anything. All of a sudden, she just randomly gets and again, if you saw her from a distance, you wouldn't even think she's an Indian. So it's like, Come on. I know that was just a little
She's
political.
Native American, Steve.
Sorry, Native American. Sorry, indigenous person or whatever they call it. So that part felt a little social justice and shoehorned in, and had nothing to do with the rest of the show. So can knock it down a little bit on that one because I didn't need that. So 8 out of 10, solid show again. So
Are you still really high on it? It sounds like you're still really high.
Yeah. So it still hasn't Brockmired me yet.
Sorry, I'm breathing fire into
No, let him match. Just flames are gonna shoot out of her mouth.
Where's Michelle at on it? Is she still pretty?
She's really into it.
Okay, so
she wants
got a hold of her.
She wants me to buy season 3.
Wow,
She's
she needs to know.
She's ready to go.
That's cool.
And she's been at work reading up on it. She's like, I might know what happened. I go, quit doing that. What are you doing?
Yeah.
So I'll probably end up renting season 3 next week.
Okay.
But so far, so good. Still very quality. Like I said, it's just the message scene I didn't need. But
it was so they grooved a better storyline as opposed to the son or the always being the problem.
Yeah. So the son is still there, and he has problems here and there, but it's not like every episode. So they fixed the one thing I had a problem with in the first season, and then they removed a lot of the sex and the dirty scenes. So. It's like Game of Thrones. So Daenerys was naked all the time in the first couple of seasons, and then when she got a little clout, all of a sudden her naked scenes went away. It's just funny.
I didn't come to. I guess.
I know.
We live in the year 2020, where if I want to see naked chicks and
2 seconds,
boobs, I can just go and see naked. I don't necessarily need to see that.
Yeah.
I know a lot of dudes do though,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I get it, but it's not really.
It just feels like a cheap tactic to rope you in, and then we're going to take it away from you and hope you like the rest of the show, which I do, so it doesn't matter.
It sounds like
to
it's
me.
got a decent enough plots that it doesn't matter. Yeah.
So I highly recommend it. Yellowstone. Don't recommend the Peacock service again because nothing's on there but Yellowstone. So make sure you cancel that in time. And now I'm going to go to my next one. This one's called Capone. This came out, I want to say, during the COVID, right before COVID. Charles is dying from that cognac.
I finished it though.
This is Tom Hardy as Al Capone. And I thought.
I love Time Out.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to say I do love me some Tom Hardy.
So
Tom
do I.
Hardy is fantastic. Great characters, great, his ability to act and all that kind of stuff. But you look very down.
So I'll give us some points credits to this movie because one, it taught me something.
Okay.
The first thing it taught me was I always assumed Al Capone died in prison. He did not. He was in prison for up to a certain point, and he had syphilis when he was a kid, and because he was in prison, it was never.
I thought syphilis was an STD.
I don't know. I'm just telling you what it was.
I'm just asking a
So
question.
apparently, if you don't take care of syphilis, it affects your brain.
Oh.
And so while it was
bloodstream thing or something.
Yeah,
like that?
something. So while he was in prison, he obviously didn't get the proper treatment for his syphilis, and it made him go almost like the earliest onset dementia. So he spent his last years of his life in his mansion in Miami. They released him, and he just sat down in this mansion for a couple years till he died.
Just kind of degraded.
Degraded with his wife there and some doctors. I did not know that, and I even looked it up afterwards to see if they're bullshit, and it is true. And I think he was 48 or something. So imagine
Not an old guy.
Yeah, he got like dementia, like me getting dementia a couple years.
Died from like complications of syphilis.
Yeah, and it rotted his brain. So I was like, okay, that's interesting. But now the movie covers that last year of his life with dementia.
It's way too into that.
It's into nothing else. So it doesn't recap his whole life and showing the gangster stuff.
Yeah, it doesn't lead you into his organized
You're watching
crime.
an old man shit himself in the bed.
Oh, jeez.
He pisses himself all the time. And he has dementia, and he's crazy, and he's seeing things and
Yeah,
stuff.
but who cares about that part?
Yeah.
I would want to see his...
No.
So how does a guy...
None. And so...
I think I'm more offended at this movie.
Yes!
Like, dude,
So was I. I was like...
you have a moment to tell really interesting and cool stories.
Yeah,
and-
because I thought it would show him his dementia stuff and then go back to flashbacks of his
Yeah.
life. No, that's not what happens. So imagine if you just made a movie about an old man in an old retirement home suffering from dementia.
So it doesn't... I guess... And again, excuse me for whatever, but like... Wouldn't, to me, a good movie would be you show him in his current state and then you flash back to, and then you work your way through the story.
They don't.
Oh, shame on them.
So at one point he says, right when he first gets in the house, that when he still has a little bit of mind left before he has a stroke, because that comes halfway through the movie, he buried $10 million. he thinks he buried $10 million.
It's one of those gray areas where you don't know as the viewer if
Yeah,
it's true
yeah,
or
yeah.
if he's losing his
And
marbles.
the problem is he's losing his marbles. So everyone in the house, like his doctor, is trying to get him to tell him where the $10 million is. His son's trying to get him to tell him. His best friend, who's Matt Dillon, comes in and tries to get him to tell him. And he can't do it because he doesn't know. Or he tries drawing and he draws like
piece
weird
it
math.
together.
Yeah.
It's like, oh,
Yeah, so throughout the whole movie, like the feds are forcing the doctor to try to find out so they can get the money and stuff like that. And that sounds interesting, but it's not. It's most of his
boring.
Yeah, so he has a super bad stroke, and he can no longer smoke cigars, so he's using a carrot. Like he's like a bad Bugs Bunny carrot.
Oh, my God.
It's so weird. It's weird.
I think that there's a great movie to be had there. I think they
Yeah.
just went in a different angle.
Yeah,
Wow.
they're like, let's just cover him dying of dementia in his house.
Wow.
I was like, who made this choice?
Yeah, wow.
There's one flashback scene in his mind where he's going to like an old, looks like a underground place where they used to sell hooch and stuff and the big dances and stuff. But that's it. The rest of it is just him.
No other flashbacks?
None. Nope. And like I said, one scene he shits himself. He's in the bed and his wife just goes, "What is that?" And lifts the curtain, the fucking shit all over the bed. I was like, "Why am I watching this?"
Wow.
So it was terrible. And Tom Hardy's okay as him, but you could tell it's makeup and prosthetics all over
it's
his
kind
face.
of bad effect.
It's like, why couldn't you just get an older guy to play fucking?
I
Al
like Tom
Capone?
Hardy though.
I do, but
Great in Peaky Blinders. I mean,
Yeah.
I can go on and on about Tom Hardy.
I like him in a lot of stuff. This movie was just so bad, even he couldn't save it.
Man.
I'm giving this a 2 out of 10.
Whoa,
only because
man.
1 point for teach me something I didn't know because I thought Al Capone died in prison.
Great.
And the other point
So
is
a 2-second Wikipedia search. Is what he said.
So what the hell? Why?
Oh my god.
So I wondered why because I thought this would have award buzz behind it with him playing Al Capone. And now that I've seen
Kinda
it,
died. You know. Like,
yeah,
what?
now I gotta know why because it was just a terrible movie. So what?
I was going to say, when I saw this in the show notes, I was like, oh, I got to see this. No. Not even,
He's out.
and I wonder if that $10 million piece, that portion of it has any connection. It probably does have some connection. Remember, I don't know, 20 years ago or so when
With
they
the
had
vaults?
where Geraldo opened Al Capone's vault and it was empty?
Yeah, so I don't think there ever was a $10 million. He just kind of thought it in his head. Like at one point he has a stroke. He can't talk. And he's got a carrot in his mouth, and they're trying to make him draw a map to the thing. It just scribbles all over the. I'm like, and that was 10 minutes of the movie. I was like,
Jesus.
oh my god. So it was bad. I don't know what the hell they were thinking. And you know who directed it? The same guy that directed that last Fantastic Four movie, that Joshua Tay. So that guy's just terrible because Fantastic Four was terrible also. So
It seems like a missed opportunity to me. Is what it seems like.
Yeah.
It seems like you could have done a great story with him in his current state, flashing back to his organized crime days, and really made a
cover
great
the
movie.
same Valentine's Day massacre, all this stuff they could have covered.
1,000 events.
Yeah,
and,
it
that
could have been like
brought him to
Boardwalk
be Al
Empire all
Capone.
over. Yeah.
Wow.
No, this guy shitting himself in his bed.
Yeah, I don't know about that one.
Yeah, falling on the ground, drooling. It's like who saw like their grandfather at a retirement home about to die and thought I need to make a movie
You
about
know
this.
what?
Yeah, how could I? All right, so there we go. I was let down. So I had one good one, one bad one. Charles, what did you have this week?
So I started watching this show. Well, I didn't start watching the show. I actually watched the first season a while ago on Hulu. It's called Ramy, and it's basically about a Middle Eastern character named Ramy Youssef who lives in New Jersey, and it's about him finding his way in this world. This is a show that would make you mental in a heartbeat. If you agree with Steve in any review recommendations, don't watch Ramy because it's not going to be anything you want
Side
to
note, I'm
watch.
starting to feel the heat from the cognac.
Yeah, it's a little rough, man.
Oh.
So this is the second season. Now they added Mahershala Ali, who's off of The Green Book, one of
I like
Steve's
him.
movies.
Yep. movies. Yeah, he's a good actor.
He comes into.
He's going to be Blade.
He's gonna be Blade. Yeah, I'd watch that. He plays a sheikh or like a head of a mosque that Ramy tends to start going to, and then he actually starts to fall in love with the sheikh's daughter.
Bill is pounding that cognac.
Yeah, that's my second glass.
He's loving it, man.
Yeah, he found his proper.
Good
proper
job,
tool.
man. All right, cool.
Well, I don't have my regular cognac, so I haven't had it in a while either. So
It's hitting the spot on BV. That's cool. So basically, he falls in love with the sheikh's daughter, and I've talked about the first season, I believe, on the show, where he ends up hooking up with his cousin at the end of the first season, which my wife explained to me is pretty predominant in the Arab culture. Like when you go back to like Middle Eastern times and all that, or Middle Easterns. What's that, BB?
I said, no, that's absolutely correct.
What? Oh, the Middle Eastern cousin thing?
Yes.
Wow, BB says it with authority too. Okay, so he hooked up with. So long story short, when he's going to get married to the Sheikh's daughter, the cousin shows up for the wedding, and he ends up like hooking back up with the cousin right beforehand. But then he's like in this weird spiritual journey where he's believing what the Mahershala Ali character's telling him to do. So he just point blank tells the Sheikh's daughter, yeah, I hooked up with the cousin the day before. And all like, so he's not a likable character. He's a very flawed human being of a character and stuff. I find that this show does a very good job of fleshing out the universe. So in other words, it gives you an episode every season about the mom, about the dad, about his sister, and like there's a really over the top uncle that he works for. There's like a very stereotypical Arabic guy who owns a jewelry store, and like he ends up being gay, but like he's one of those like old school gay guys that'll like he'll let you blow him and then he'll punch you in the face afterwards, kind of thing. Yeah, it's like that kind of character. This show won a lot of Emmys and stuff like that, and it's one of those shows that I was not into at first, but I come to realize I really enjoy these characters, and I really enjoy the onionness of it all, like where it kind of reveals to you and all this kind of stuff. They also don't try to make the main guy, the Ramy guy, like a super good guy. Like he's making the same mistakes in life that like a regular human makes and all that kind of stuff. It's a very like it's a very slice of life kind of thing, and that's one of those things that Steve goes, I'm out. Dude says I'm not into this.
I gotta be honest, it's kind of boring.
No
man.
action. No action, no titties.
Yeah, there's it doesn't check any of the boxes for Steve, but I really find it a super endearing show, and it's really
that Shrill
good.
show with that girl from Saturday Night Live is kind of the same.
Bryant,
yeah, it's kind of just a slice of her life or fictional life of that.
Yeah, I guess.
So sometimes, I guess, but I haven't watched the second season of that. I haven't.
Yeah,
Chuck keeps going. We gonna watch that second season?
Yeah, call me when there's literally nothing else.
Yeah, when we finish every other show I like on Earth, then we'll watch the second season.
Man, but I gotta tell you, man, I'm full in on this show. I find the characters really good. I find the writing is really well done and stuff like that.
How many episodes per season?
About 8. I think it's like a 16. It's got like that modern show on Hulu, Netflix, where it's not a huge season. And stuff like
they
that.
drop them all at once, or they're doing?
At least as far as I saw, yeah.
The boys are still doing one a week. It's fucking driving me crazy.
You're so pissed about that.
I'm so annoyed.
Are they half-hour shows or hour shows? Or?
They're about 40 minutes or so. They're not really full length or whatever, but they're.
Is there cussing and stuff, or
it's played very for real, if that makes sense. Yeah. But like. And I think maybe I'm a little more drawn to it living where we live. We live in Dearborn and all that kind of stuff. And we're around Muslim culture and all this kind of stuff. And it's just, like I said, it's really slice of lifey kind of stuff.
Scale of 1 to 10, what are you giving it?
I like it. I give it like an 8. I'm that kind of into it. And I think, and like I said, it's not for everyone. I'll be the first person to tell you that. And that's one of those things where like, I know Steve can never sit down and watch Ramy. It's not like when you recommend Brockmire to me.
I'm not even going to deny it. I probably couldn't.
Yeah, it's not even one of those things, but I totally like it. And I think it's a good show, and it's one of those little gems that if you tend to like that like slice of life storytelling, it's really a good type show.
Yeah. I don't. So
self-aware man.
Yeah, and that's okay.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, maybe I'll check it out. I don't know.
That's a no. You don't have to.
You haven't cracked through the second season, Pen 15 yet?
It just came out on Friday. Give me some time.
Oh, okay. I thought you.
Yeah, no, I was at work and everything like that. We're gonna get through that, and also on HBO Max, there's a pottery competition show that came out.
Jesus Christ!
Yeah,
wow.
So
when you got a machine, I think your balls fell off.
Yeah. Review incoming of the pottery competition,
Christ.
And Great British Baking Show will be back every week, one a week on Netflix, beginning September 25th.
What size tampon do you use?
Usually an extra large. I got a very big vagina.
So Steve, question for you.
Yes.
Does Charles buy a kiln before or after the end of the year.
You joke, but I swear to you, when we first saw the thing, I go to Heather and Lauren. I go, listen, there'll be no pottery equipment.
You'd have to do it in the driveway, right? Because it's so messy.
Yeah, not
middle of
joking
January
at
in
all.
Michigan.
This has got you written all over it.
Yeah, dude, I told her, I go, we cannot buy pottery equipment. I had that same conversation.
All that to make a vase, lopsided
It's so
vase.
true. So listen for our pottery conversations coming up soon.
All right, now we're going to talk more manly stuff like animation.
Yeah.
We're all gay in our own ways. So
It's a band's
animation. So when it comes to animation, Charles, I feel there's like adult animation, which is like Rick and Morty, Family Guy,
Adult
Bob's
Swim
Burger,
type
Adult
stuff.
Swim type stuff.
I would use Bob's Burgers appeals to my daughter as well.
Yeah.
So it
Yeah, but
depends.
it's targeted toward adults,
I
but
get
kids
ya.
enjoy it
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
And on the other hand, there's kids animation that does appeal to some adults.
Teen Titans Go.
Teen Titans Go, SpongeBob, I would argue, a lot of
The
adults like
Shrek
Spon-
movies.
The Shrek movies, and one of them that sneaks in. Oh, I would say the Penguins of Madagascar. Me and Bill, everyone enjoyed that one too. Yeah. So another one that kind of sneaks in for Disney is Phineas and Ferb. I always find there's something about the show. It's just kind of fun.
That's the guy with the big triangle nose.
Yeah,
and
yeah, it's
everything?
terribly animated.
Yeah,
it looks like
awful.
a 10-year-old made all the
He
characters.
looks like cereal box art.
But it's kind of like an old school show where it's kind of the same stuff each week, where the little platypus becomes a secret agent and he busts the evil mastermind doctor all the time, and the two brothers.
Agent P.
Yeah, even Bill likes the show.
Love
And
that show.
It's no longer live anymore. The show's over.
Yeah.
So on Disney Plus, they make random movies for it, about an hour and a half long. And this one's called Phineas and Ferb, the movie, Candace Against the Universe. Now, they've had other movies, too, I think, with the Marvel characters in it and stuff like that. But this new one, it's exclusive to Disney Plus. And this puts their sister. The sister is usually the sub-character. She's always trying to bust them and tell the mom and dad on them as they make these fantasy vehicles and
So
stuff like
she's
that.
the straight arrow.
Yeah. She'd always try to bust them, but then when the parents show up, everything's back to normal, and the parents just thought she was crazy. So in this one, aliens abduct her, take her to a planet, and they act like she's the savior of the universe, and she becomes the center of the movie. And the brothers have to go save her and stuff like that. It's funny, and it has the same charm as the show. A little long, though. At an hour and a half, the formula kind of drags a little bit, and they add in a lot of musical numbers.
Which is a big bone of
Yeah, I'm
contention
never
with Steve.
big musical number. They're all original
Don't come
songs.
to Steve for any music.
Yeah, no. You want to see Cats? You ask somebody else.
Yeah.
I don't know shit about it. So that kind of bummed me out a little bit because I'm not big on that. But sometimes musical numbers can be all right. As it is, Charles, you've never seen Phineas and Ferb.
I
would-
much know of the characters.
Yeah,
I don't know much
it's
about it.
it's kind of like Teen Titans Go, the movie. It's like it's okay and it's got the formula from the show, but I'd much rather watch the half-hour episodes than this hour-and-a-half episode. So it's not that bad. Bill, did you see it? Did you watch it or no?
I haven't seen the movie yet. I plan to, but I think we talked about this before. I've found that the movies that they have for Phineas and Ferb, because there's been a few and we've seen a couple of them, that they don't tend to be as enjoyable to me as the shows. Probably because the formula doesn't really play into a 90-minute plus movie.
Yeah, that's what that's
and
it.
so it gets to be a little bit sort of overkill. And even with the music, like there's specific musical numbers that were done for the show that were funny and kind of get caught in your head.
How did BD come to know Phineas and Ferb?
Him and Abby started watching it.
Abby watched it, and she got me, kind of had it on. I was watching. I was like, yeah, this is kind of...
Because he had a kid. Like, what is BD in a watch?
This was prime Holly, 10 to 12-year-old.
Yeah.
She loved this show.
Yeah.
I don't know how BD got here. Is what I'm saying.
Well, no. So my wife, Abby, she's into, she doesn't do it as much anymore, but she used to watch a lot of sort of the more adult directed animation. She's real big into certain
like King of the Hill
shows,
Bob's Burgers, stuff like
that. Huge Simpsons fan.
Simpsons, yeah.
So she kind of turned me on to it. I like the show a lot. But the movies tend to be. So I'll eventually watch the movie, but I'm not gonna. If I'm just kind of sitting around doing nothing, I'll flip it on and watch it. I'll see it, but I'm not like rushing out to see it as quickly as possible because they just don't tend to be able to support movies very well.
Yeah, so this is getting the standard Steve 6. where the show, if you watch the show. Now, I haven't seen the show in years, so it might not be as good as I remember, but Holly liked it. It kept her attention. So the show is not nearly as funny as Teen Titans
God,
go.
that show's so funny.
That I think has a little bit better writers and stuff.
I think I have to see that.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
I haven't seen Teen Titans Go. I don't know anything about it.
Now that we've
So
blown it out of
good.
proportion, it'll
Yeah,
suck
it
for you when
probably
you see it.
sucked, but, man,
Yeah.
Well,
it's-
hey, quick question: Is there a good? Is Doofenshmirtz any kind of like main character in the movie?
Yeah,
at all?
yeah,
Does
yeah. He
play a
goes
part?
with the brothers to help because his daughter gets zapped with Candace to the other planet.
I see. Okay.
He has a chickinator, where if he zaps you, it replaces you with the closest chicken. Just it's stupid humor like that.
His whole thing is he tries to.
He makes
He's,
dumb
he's an
inventions. all
evil.
the
He's
time.
an evil mad scientist, but he makes these innators
Yeah,
that do really dumb things that would never actually give him any real advantage on anything anyway.
yeah. It makes you smell like cheese or something.
Yeah.
It's just stupid shit like that. So, and one more animation note that I gotta see: September 30th, Comedy Central, an hour-long special, South Park. The pandemic special. They've already showed the classroom with the same cutouts that Holly has in the class. I was like, I gotta watch that. So we got that recorded, and I guess Stan runs a weed shop now, the dad. So he's having a pandemic half-off special. So it looks pretty funny.
Sometimes, man, South Park, you realize that it's a real gem of a show.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that they're so witty with how they can like zing everything that's current and stuff
Yeah.
like that. They're really topical.
So September 30th, pandemic special, South Park on Comedy Central. Now, right now, we're gonna unleash our new segment where BV each week is going to give you the cold lock pick of the week, where you could go and put your house payment down,
Your house-
and you will double your money. Bill, this week, and the rules to the game is it's any sport Bill picks. If he picks snooker, if he picks Australian rules football,
Kabaddi or whatever.
yeah,
I
yeah.
fully-
If
I
he
fully
picks that
intend
weird
to make
Indian
an-
slapping,
I
what?
fully intend to make a footy game one of my picks. of
Oh
the week.
yeah, or UFC. He can pick whatever he wants. And Bill, tell us.
So
your-
hold on so the rules of this segment need to be every week we discuss last week's lock
Yes.
into this week's lock, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, and if
Well-
casinos weren't so limited, we could go take the money and put bet on Bill's
okay.
stuff. But I don't want to wait in line to get a casino.
I can take this a step further. So I mean, we can keep track of it. I'm going to keep score of what my record is on the lock of the week. I don't know where you came up with this or what made you come up with it, Steve, but sure, I'll play along. So I don't know if any of you seen last week, DraftKings. I don't anymore, but I used to play daily fantasy pretty regularly. They had this promotion where you put a $5 bet down, and the thing was to win $100. So it was plus 2,000. To win $100, all you had to do was take the under or over on Amari Cooper in the Sunday night game last week, catching more than 0.5 receptions. So I went in and literally deposited $5, made the bet, and won $100. So
How many receptions
How
did
many
he
you-
end up with? It had to be more. Than
What?
that. How many did he end
I
up
don't know.
with?
I have no idea how many. he
I don't
ended
think
with.
that's a bet. That's not a very good bet from DraftKings.
They're
I
No,
probably
would-
just
what
trying
they're
to drag
doing is they're
people
running
in.
promotions to get people started.
Yeah,
on
but
their
that's
opportunity to
crazy.
get money
Like,
in there.
what?
Yeah.
So now you won that week. You're like, oh, what's the next one? I got to stay on and play again.
Yeah, wow.
That's
Yeah,
probably the
so-
thinking
Gave
behind
you
it.
a
that's the
taste.
thing.
Yeah,
Okay.
So what I'm going to do for this
hit that
is
first
that
little line.
Yeah.
I'm going to make a $10 bet every week on this lock of the week, and I'm going
Oh,
to keep
man.
track both of what my record is,
And how much
and
money
I'm
by
going
the
to
end
keep
of the
track of how up or down I am overall.
year? All right.
So this week I decided to I'm gonna go with the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
And looking at the NFL schedule, I found one particular matchup that just didn't make any sense to me. So the Vikings against the Colts. The game is in Indianapolis. The Vikings are 3-point underdogs, which makes zero sense to me considering the fact that the Colts literally lost to the sort of consensus worst team in the league last week, the Jaguars. And
The Phillips Rivers thing might be a bust, is what everyone was calling for.
he threw like 2 or 3 interceptions. Gardner Minshew
Pick
went
6 or 2 or something like that.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Gardner Minshew went 19 of 20 passing against the Colts. And so it was pretty much an epic failure. So I looked at it and thought, okay, so the Vikings should be favored in this game, and they're not. So officially, the lock of the week here is the Vikings +3 at the Colts. And I'll give you a little bit of
Oh,
reasoning
man.
behind it. So first of all, Phillip Rivers, as much as you love
He's
to
your
say
favorite
that,
quarterback.
he's not my favorite quarterback.
You have a
You're
tattoo of him on
total
your back.
Complete douche. He has become basically Well, he always was a statue, but he's an old quarterback who's living off reputation. He's a turnover machine. He throws picks
For
on the
record, he
regular.
always was.
Yeah, well, but he's even more so now than he was before. So
This is
the,
the
the,
battle of
the
Steve
information
Tatum
that I have with him,
quarterbacks.
so not only is this generally a theme with him, but in his career against Minnesota, in 4 games, he's 1-3. He has 4 touchdowns and 7 interceptions. 35.1 total QBR, which is his worst by far against any team in the league. So he's already predisposed to turnovers, and he does not have a good history against Minnesota. Their starting running back, Marlon Mack, was out for the year. He got hurt last week with an Achilles injury.
Mm-hmm.
So they're working without their starting running back, and now their tight end, Jack Doyle, is also out for this game. The Vikings are not world beaters, but they're a legit team. Dalvin Cook is a legit superstar in the making, provided he can stay healthy. And for those that are into fantasy, I would say that another really good pick for this in this game would be Adam Thielen. Based upon the passing dominance apparently that the Colts will give up, I'm going to estimate he's going to do something like 8 catches for 130 yards and at least 1 touchdown. The Vikings have covered in the last 5 games that are following a loss, and they did lose last week to the Packers. All of this put together, and just my general lack of any confidence in the Colts being good at all. So I'm going to count the $10 bet that I put up on DraftKings, which was at -104, which means that if I win the bet, I will end up being paid out $19.70 from that $10. That's what's going to count towards our running tally. But I also took the Vikings straight up at +148 for $10. And if I win that, I'll receive $24.80. There's no reason why the Vikings should be an underdog in this game. So my lock of the week, and I'd like to caveat for people, just for the record, for the 6 or 7 people that might actually be listening to this, that I in fact am horrible at picking games. And you should not only not put your house payment up on it, you probably shouldn't put 35 cents against
So
it.
let me add another wrinkle.
That
to
was
this
a lot of good
segment here.
research, though.
But hold on. So let's go to Steve now. On a scale of 1 to 100, where do you rank on BV's confidence? Being 0, he's out of his mind. 100, he's a lock. He's dead.
Ooh, I put it at 90%. 90.
Yeah,
90.
because I'm really high. I think it's a solid pick.
He also has to keep in mind that Kirk Cousins will throw a pick 6 with the game on the line. So you better hope that the
There's
Minnesota
a
just
cousin
runs
factor
it.
that's willing
Yeah,
to
the
hose
Kirk
it.
Cousin factor is always in
Yeah.
there.
I am.
But that's the only thing.
Very
against him.
high. I think he's sound in his logic. I think he's like at a 90, 95. So yeah,
Yeah.
I'm right there with BV. It's a solid pick, BV. I'm with
If
you.
I have to choose between Cousins and Rivers as far as a
Ooh, that's a hard
game
pick.
manager, I would rely on Cousins to throw less interceptions than Rivers every day of the week.
I would rely on Minnesota's coach to just be like, run it every down.
Yeah.
Well,
So-
and that should work. So we'll see how this goes going forward. Just curiously, what made you come up with cold lock pick of the week?
I don't know.
What do you
It
do?
just sounded good.
I'd like to reserve the right to tweak that a little bit.
Oh
as
yeah,
we go.
feel free. I just put something up there that came to mind quick.
So you're at 90. I'm at 95 for BV's cold lock pick of the
The
week.
only thing will screw him is if Cousin goes Cousin. Other than that, he's
I think it's a
he's
sound
pretty
pick.
solid pick.
Me and you are so anti-Phillip Rivers.
Yeah, I
That's
know.
what it is,
But then again,
so.
it goes against my Colts
Yeah.
pick in the AFC South because I said you got to watch out for them. So I don't know.
I think the Colts have the way it looks so far. There's a legitimate chance that the Colts are going to turn into a full-blown dumpster fire by the time you get to about week 6 or 7 of the season.
Oof.
I think they might wish they kept Jacoby Brissett as a starting quarterback.
Isn't he still on the team?
I'm not sure, actually.
He is just fucking bench Rivers. What are you waiting on? All right, so there you go. The new segment of Bill's picks. He even came with some way more research than I would have came with. So you
You
can't
can't put me
argue.
on the spot, man. I mean,
Well, it knows good.
I can't just half-ass it.
So next week when he comes out with that snooker pick, we're all going to be confused.
I need you to explain it.
All right, we're going to do a review, and this is kind of a review on review crime because Charles has already talked about this before. I borrowed Charles's PlayStation VR set from him this week, and when I've always played it here at Charles's house.
Oh, okay.
Whoa! I thought you froze up on the Skype feed.
What is this?
It's a Kona something. Steve's got diabetes. He can't eat that.
Hey, where is mine?
BB, you don't get one.
Oh, this is un-American.
Okay.
She made this
No, there's a weird ice cream truck that shows up. It's a whole thing.
with snow
Anyway.
cones.
I hope you're not letting her go out to the truck by herself, because that's creepy.
No, she went out with Heather. So anyway, to your review, Steve. As you eat your Kona ice, you don't gotta worry.
So, when I played it here at your house, you've already set it all up. And the only cord I really saw was from the PlayStation.
And I
to
got a
the
weird
headset.
OCD about cleaning up cords.
I gotta say, this PlayStation VR has the most goddamn cords.
Yeah.
It's got a little box, and you run HDMI from the box to your PlayStation, then the PlayStation, the HDMI up to the thing. Or I
Then
might have
there's
that backwards,
USBs that go
USBs.
across.
I mean, it is insane.
And you thought I labeled all those cables. No, PlayStation labeled all those cables. 'Cause
Oh.
of how confusing it must be for the consumer.
Wow, is it a lot? I had to pull up the YouTube video to hook this stuff up. Now, I will say, I still enjoy the experience, but I don't like it for long periods of time. So I sat there, I played it. I would say, so it's got the two controllers with the big dildo looking things.
Uh-huh.
I don't like them. I don't like them at all.
The Move controllers?
The Move
Well,
controllers.
that's a standard thing.
I know, but I don't know what button's what. And then they're like, hit the X button. I'm like,
Yeah.
which? And you can't look at it because you got the
Well, let me
headset
ask you a
on.
question. So you've got a different. So I had mine. It was set up in my living room here at the house.
Mm-hmm.
You moved it into a much smaller room.
Yes.
How was your experience as far as it picking you up and all that kind of
Most
stuff?
games, it's fine. I could just stay in my chair and wheel back about 3 feet, and I'm good.
And it picks you up.
The game that wasn't fine on was Iron Man, the game I rented.
Oh, wow.
Iron Man forces you to use the dildo controllers.
Okay.
And then it makes you. So, you know how Iron Man flies in the movies? He puts his hands down to fly?
yeah.
You have to do that in the game.
Oh, wow. So they want you to replicate the motions and
Everything, which is cool, and it looks cool. Like you've seen the movie where the scan thing comes over his face, and you look down, you got the thing glowing in your heart, and that's cool, but it's hard to maneuver. And here I'm banging my desk and stuff, you know.
okay.
So that's a little annoying. So you need a much bigger space to play Iron Man, and it's so a certain part of the game you have to do through these sections.
weird, like,
So you got to
timing.
move the
Yeah,
thing,
so
and
they're basically having you guide his
and I
suit.
kept dying over and over and running out of time. So I got a little annoyed by that one. I'm not gonna lie. That game, if you have a ton of room, fine, but I'm not. I can't recommend Iron Man VR.
How much did you pay for it?
I just rented it. It was
okay.
like $350. I didn't buy it. And I couldn't rent. The other game that's not out on disc, it's only downloadable, is Vader Immortal. And so I can't play that. The other
It's
one
also $30 too.
Yeah. The other one I rented, Ace Combat 7, where the game isn't made all VR.
It's a mode.
It has a mode. And I got to tell you, that sold me.
Oh.
Flight Simulator. So I didn't, all I could use, I could use the DualShock. So I know where all the buttons are, everything on it. So I had to use the dildos.
So now you're
I
natively.
chucked the dildos. The dildos
Yeah.
are gone. I got the regular controller. You got the headset on. And you walk in the hangar. You can look around the hangar and shit. There's people working on your plane.
That's kind of like that Call of Duty demo me and you
Yeah,
played a
yeah.
while ago.
And then you get into the plane, and it lifts up on the aircraft deck.
Oh, you're seeing it kind of go.
Yeah, you're sitting there,
Oh,
and then it taxis you over, and you hit R2, and woof, you go through,
Oh.
and then you lift off the. And I'm not gonna lie, when I lift off, I got a little thing in the gut. I was like, woo, because I suffer from.
You gotta feel it.
I get
yeah.
motion sickness badly, and it got me a little. I was like, whoa, and then you get used to it quick. It goes away, but. And it's sweet. I mean, you're looking. It's ocean. You're over ocean, and you look. All
Are you
around.
able to get cockpit view and everything? And,
Oh yeah. You look down, you see your hands, you see your guys. You got the dash in front of you, and then you got Migs and fight. You're like Tom Cruise in it, man. Loved it. That was the
Oh,
best
okay.
experience in VR I've ever had.
Okay, cool.
I love the flight simulator where I don't have to use the dildos. I just use the controller.
Yeah, you much prefer like a visual sense of like looking around.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
then still a game.
Yeah, I don't need to actually move and do the other
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
So I gotta say, if you love flying games, now I want to keep in 2 weeks the new Star Wars game comes out, the TIE Fighter one.
Yeah.
And it's going to have VR in it. So I want to hold on to that for 2 weeks
fine.
and then rent that and try
Because
that.
I'll be playing Mafia.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
That's the
Mafia's
whole
coming
point
out,
of my
too.
move.
So for me, my experience with VR, I don't like the ones where I got to move around. Like I didn't really. That's the only thing about the boxing. I didn't want to get up and actually. If I could just sit in my chair and do this, or I could just use the controller and box, it'd be better for me. I'm not.
My favorite experience is Moss, as you know, and that's
Yeah.
a puzzle solving game and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
and we downloaded the demo of the VR room, and there's one that's a platformer, and you don't have to get up for that one. It's you're like a little robot. So imagine playing Mario.
Did you play Astrobot? Play Astrobot.
That's what I'm talking about.
Astrobot's fun.
So that's like Mario essentially. So you look up there and you go, okay, I go up there and get coins.
They also implement puzzles based on your ability to kind of look around. And stuff.
So right now, for me, flight simulators and platformers
Yeah.
are the best in VR.
I think
I thought those
when
were the
you get
best.
like super like movie and kind of up and at 'em, it does kind of it doesn't hold up as well.
Yeah,
I guess is what you're trying to say.
yeah.
Still, the most mind blowing thing was that Last Guardian thing where you were on and you had to walk down that bridge, and that was still the most mind blowing thing. And it sounds like Ace Combat's right in line with
And
that.
I'm playing the gun one right now. What is that?
Farpoint?
Farpoint.
Yeah.
It's not bad. You gotta sit through a lot of cutscenes and stuff.
Slow.
It's a little slow, and you use the analog stick on the front of the controller to move. Sometimes I have registering problems with that one. There's a point where you gotta lay the gun down to pick up the other
calibrate
shotgun,
it, yeah.
and it just won't do it. I was trying for like a half hour. It's driving me nuts. So PlayStation VR. Now Facebook announced their Quest 2 that's totally wireless. I would like to try that, but I don't want to.
I used an Oculus Quest at work. A guy at work had one randomly, but it was very
The
first.
wireless?
Yeah, it was very first Jenny, and he showed me like I was able to watch a basketball game while sitting, and that was kind of cool. But like it seemed very rudimentary, especially coming off the PlayStation 1 that was hardwired and stuff. So I don't know.
Now that's the other thing I did try. So I was curious what regular games are like with the VR on. So I tried Call of Duty with it on. So remember back in the day when we shared a room and all we had was a little TV? This would be perfect if we were still in that situation.
Can you dictate how big of a screen you get?
No, it just automatically does it.
How big of a view is
It looks like about a 50-inch TV if you're
okay.
in it. The problem I find is, like in a game like Call of Duty, when you're playing, there's a lot of fast movements in Call of Duty, and it doesn't feel like it keeps up as quite like it blurs a little bit when you turn and stuff.
Okay.
It just could be the vision or something, but that's the only problem with the regular games don't keep up. I should say the headset doesn't keep up with the regular paced games that aren't designed for it. I mean, it's still nice, and like I said,
like you said, there's a design caveat to
Yeah.
kind of slow the movement,
Yeah,
wash
yeah,
the movement in a
yeah.
weird way.
So if I'm like Christopher sharing a room with Marion and, you know, I don't have another big TV, then maybe using the VR headset would be a good alternative. But again, it gets hot. You know how it is. It gets hot and stuff. And so right now, PlayStation VR, Iron Man I don't recommend. Ace Combat 7, I loved it. I love the flight simulators. $350 I think it still is now, because now it comes with the Iron Man one.
Okay.
I don't know if it's worth $350. You know, do you think it's worth $50?
I think
the game selection is kind of small too.
I think the tech of it is it's such a different experience. I think that you pay a premium for that experience, if you will. But like you said, if you don't have some FU money, it's hard to justify that price. Is what it boils down to.
Especially at $350, a little bit more. You can get the new systems and stuff. So it's like, you know. But I gotta say, I want to give a full review when that Star Wars comes out, because right now I love the flight simulator part. So I want to do that Star Wars.
And again, that COD flight simulator was very cool too.
Yeah, that's my thing there. I like those. All right, so there we go.
Before you,
go
sorry,
ahead.
Before you move on, real quick, I obviously have nothing to contribute to this, but I would say that building off the overwhelming success of the Pat McAfee petition, I would like to suggest that maybe we add a second petition to Sony to have them change the name of Move controllers to either dildo-looking things or dildo controllers.
They're so terrible.
You don't like a move, but they've had move controls now for this is the second generation.
I hate them. I didn't like them at all. I don't know what button I'm pressing. I just don't like them. They don't register with me for some reason. I feel like Bill when Bill gets an Xbox controller, he looks at it and goes, "What the fuck is this?" I feel the same. And even worse, with the headset on, you can't fucking see him. So it's like X button. Which one's the goddamn X button? I'm like hitting every button, and it drives me crazy. I'm not a big fan of them, but you know, whatever. All right, so now we're gonna go on what's new this week. What's new to watch? You, of course, can tell me you like it, don't like it, whatever. What the hell are you talking about? First up is America's Book of Secrets. This is kind of like a docuseries.
Can we review this Kona Ice real quick? Because All this is a snow cone. That's all this is.
Yeah, and mine had like a coconut flavor.
Yours is a coconut flavor. Mine's just got like a lame banana-y lime flavor.
How much do they charge
Probably
for
like
a snow
$9 or some shit like that. Like
I don't even know where she got it from. I thought she made
they
it.
They literally paid or not paid, but they like booked a guy to show up. No, it's fine. But they booked a guy to show up and like bring the Kona Ice Mobile here. And then they hooked it so then down the street was nice enough to call Heather and be like, hey, heads up, we got the Kona Ice Mobile coming. All this is a snow cone. How much you pay for this? That's $2.95 too much. Well, I tried it. Steve tried it. We're both very underwhelmed. Is what I'll tell you. Oh well.
Oh,
okay. Tiger's blood.
Apparently, there's coconut inside tiger's blood.
There's coconut in Steve's. I don't know. Not a fan of Kona Ice, just so we know. Yeah.
And BV's pissed you and mail him on the couch.
Yeah, BV's still waiting on his.
Yeah.
What the hell?
All right, so the new Book of Secrets is out on Netflix. This is kind of like a docuseries where they show secret things across the country and that may or may not have happened. I never watched the first series, so I'm out on this season, so I'm a no, Charles.
I'm with you. I didn't know what even the first season was. I don't know what this is. I'm a what? I'm probably a no.
Yeah. And Bill?
I'm a what, but it also, I was looking at it online a little bit as to what it is. It's supposed to take you inside of some of like the, kind of historical things that have happened. Enough to maybe check it out. Probably would go to season 1 first, but
yeah, it's kind of like, remember the movie National Treasure with Nick Cage? It's kind of
it kind of covers mind those.
Yeah, so it kind of, this is the real life version where it kind of covers some of the stuff about that.
Yeah.
All right, so next up, this is an animated one, so it's all about Steve. Dragon's Dogma. This is a Capcom game that came out a couple generations ago. It's a fantasy-based one. Actually, I didn't like the game, so I will check out the Netflix animation one because I always got to watch my animation. So I'm a yes on Dragon's Dogma, Charles.
Wait for Steve's review. I'm a no.
And BV?
Anything fantasy that does not start and end with Lord of the Rings is a overwhelming no.
Oh, man, wow. What about Game of Thrones?
Is that fantasy?
It's got a
It's
fucking
got a
dragon in it.
Okay, well then maybe I just don't know the genre. There's a few.
It's got a
Dragon
giant that was a
Dogma's not
Walking
one.
Dead guy.
It's got zombies. What the fuck? No, it's pretty realistic.
It's more of a timepiece.
Yeah, it's historical. All right, so next up is the Emmy Awards, hosted by Jimmy Kimmel. He's come out of his isolation ever making blackface about Carlos Boozer and other characters. It's on ABC this week. I have no desire to watch the Emmy Awards, Charles.
Is it a remote thing too? Is it going to be a Zoom version?
Yeah,
of it
he's going to be at one. It's supposed to have like 20 or 30 different locations and different people coming in.
Sounds terrible. I'm a no.
And Bill?
What Charles said.
All right, this one already aired this week, so I'm a little off on this one. This is ACM Awards. This is the American Country Music Awards. They did the same thing. They had at the Grand Ole Opry, and they were in Vegas, and like 4 or 5. Michelle actually watched this, so I caught a little bit of it. No, thank you.
You said country music, which is the worst type of music on the planet. I'm a no.
All right. And Bill?
Anything that has country music that spans anything past, 1992 is no.
So now we got some new video games coming this week, and they have remastered Crysis, the one that used to crunch your computer if you played it. When it's all said and done, Crysis is just a generic shooting game. That's all it really is. I played a little bit of it, the original, on EA Origins. I downloaded it, played it for about an hour, and I got bored out of my mind. I was like, this is just a bad Halo.
And then you hit the nail on the head. So the problem is with it is it was like a tech demo. At the time, they had different effects in it that didn't exist in other games. So it was like, oh, man, did you hear about Crysis? There's no reason to redo it. I mean, I don't know. I'm a no.
So I'm a no. And Bill, do you want to play Crysis?
No.
All right.
It's like a power suit thing, too.
Yeah. This week, this one, I think Charles and I are both going to tell you yes. Mafia Definitive Edition is coming out on PC, Xbox, PS4, your toaster, your toilet. It's coming out on everything. I'm a big yes because I never played the original, so I want to see it. I want to play it, and hopefully it'll be better than that Capone movie. Yeah. Charles?
I'm a huge yes. I've already pre-ordered it. It's one of my favorite PC games of all time. I love it. I can't say enough good things about it. I love Mafia games. Give me Mafia all day.
And it comes out next Friday, so we won't really have a review for you next week. Maybe
Yeah,
the week
it'll
after.
take some time, but that's what I'll be playing. That was the whole point of moving my PS4 and everything.
Bill, are you interested in a Mafia game?
Oh, I'm buying this shit.
Wow, I'm surprised. So all three of us will have it next week. So I'll be on Steam. You guys will probably be on PS4, I assume. So and maybe we'll put some gameplay up I'll put some gameplay up for people to see.
I probably have blown it way too hard, and all the other two are gonna go, "This is kind of lame," Charles. Or this was kind of done in Grand Theft Auto. I'm like, I don't care. I love it. I love that game.
And then finally this week, Tennis World Tour 2 is coming out on Xbox, PS4, and PC. I played that one tennis game that was free on Origin. It was pretty bad. So I'm going to wait for reviews on this one, so I'm a no. Charles?
Isn't tennis just Pong? At the end of the day,
Yeah.
you can add all the minutia you want, but isn't it just Pong? I'm a no.
And BV?
I want to look at some reviews on this, but I do enjoy tennis games.
So do I.
The last tennis game that was any good was Top Spin 2, and the biggest problem that I had with that was that once you got to a certain level, you basically had no chance at all. It went from being like you could dominate everybody to once you play like the bigwigs, you just get destroyed no matter what you have it on. So if it's more realistic, I think I'd actually enjoy it. So I'm going to look at the reviews on it. There's at least, decent chance I might end up buying it.
All right, so that's a maybe for BV. So that's what's new this week to watch and to play. Charles, what happened in the world of punching him
Well,
in the face?
I haven't put anything as far as what happened. I just wanted to bring up tonight. There's a great UFC fight night on ESPN Plus. Steve asked me today. He goes, "Is this a pay-per-view?" No, it's ESPN Plus. Colby Covington. Steve knows him as the guy who found a weird WWE angle. He went in to become like the Trump lover of the UFC.
I think it's kind of funny, actually.
Yeah, and then he's going to fight a very well-respected African-American fighter in Tyron Woodley. This is going to be a great fight. They're already beefing over race and stuff like that at the media days and all this kind of stuff. I can't wait. Also, the biggest note on here, too, Donald Cowboy Cerrone, who will fight anyone anytime, is fighting a guy named Nico Price as the co-main event on this.
Question
this
for
is
you.
a stacked card. People.
If he gets knocked out in the first 30 seconds, is it time for him to hang it up?
Who you talking about, Donald Cerrone?
Yes.
Yeah, because I'm way too into it. He's gonna get dropped.
If he gets dropped right away, is it time for him to hang it up?
Maybe.
Because I heard all these great things about him. Seen him once. He got destroyed.
Yeah, destroyed by shoulder.
Yeah. So I'm not sure.
So,
Quick question for you, Charles, because you're a little bit more into this than I am. I was actually looking at for this whole lock of the week going UFC right away, and I was considering.
don't never do a lock of the week.
Yeah, that's the thing. I didn't
Never.
feel comfortable enough. I was considering Tyron Woodley, so I was actually wondering what you thought about this fight.
And I think Tyron Woodley. So he's skid a little bit, and he's actually he's lost 5 now, I believe. But I want Tyron Woodley. I think Tyron Woodley's going to win and win big because he's going to try to scratch his way back. He's only 2 fights removed from when he lost the belt. So this is a great card, man. I can't wait. This is the kind of stuff that just justifies that ESPN Plus purchase. And like I said, Steve nailed it. He's like, "Is this a pay-per-view?" I'm like, "No, dude, just regular ass ESPN Plus, man. Super good."
I got a beef with ESPN Plus.
Oh, what do you?
So today I'm in the basement. I was doing my laundry, and then I wanted to paint some parts for a model. And I have my PC set up down there, my Plex PC. So I don't have cable running to it, so I just watch stuff online.
Yeah.
So I pulled up ESPN Plus thinking, they got to have all the live fucking college football games on it. They don't. They had one.
Yeah, it's totally different.
I was like,
ESPN
what the
Plus,
fuck?
but you should be able to log in with your credentials.
I did. I had to go back to regular ESPN.
Yeah, that's all
but
it
the
is.
point of Plus is I got everything here. It's
Yeah,
Plus.
Plus is not Plus.
Plus
is
is
different.
fucking useless. If
Plus
you're not a
is the
UFC
Ocho.
fan, there's no reason to have ESPN
Yeah,
Plus.
and that's tough. But there is some original content. I still
Yeah,
like
that
the
Peyton Manning
detail
show got a
stuff.
little lame after a while. I was watching it. I was like, it was pretty
Are
good.
you talking about?
I'm
Are you
talking
talking about detail, or are you talking about Peyton's Places?
I think details where it's at.
Yeah, detail's a phenomenal show.
I don't know.
Details.
The one he was throwing a football to Chris Carter.
That's
off the
Peyton
field.
Places. Yeah. Details where it's at. When they break down different things. I love detail. I can't get enough of detail.
I like Peyton's. I like Kobe's. I even like Nick Saban's.
Yeah, and Daniel Cormier stuff
Yeah.
with the UFC stuff. It's great. Detail is
I'll
great.
have to look at
It's
that.
the weird minutia of it all that's really good. I just like that kind of stuff because they're pointing out. It's kind of what makes Tony Romo such a good broadcaster because he's seeing things differently.
I'm just saying, I should be able to pull up any college game on ESPN Plus.
Yeah, but they got it tiered and all that crap.
It's
Just-
so
but you have
annoying.
login credentials. Just log in.
I'm already on
It's like
ESPNplus.com.
But see,
I don't want to turn around and go back to
Here's
ESPN.com.
your issue, though, too. So on my Apple TV, for example, it keeps my AT&T TV Now credentials in and my ESPN Plus. So it basically just gives me everything in one window. So I don't have to, you know what I mean? Like, so I would assume once you log in, it'll probably give you everything based on what you have the ability to see or something like that.
All right. So there's a look at UFC this week. Now we got
Really
some
good
news.
card.
And the news is the news.
Okay. I don't know what-
That was a dramatic pause. Did it work?
okay.
So each week I like to give an update on my daughter's favorite app, TikTok. So at first, Microsoft and Walmart were going to buy it. Well, first Trump was
And
going to
Microsoft and Walmart, or Microsoft or Walmart?
Microsoft with Walmart. They were going
Oh.
to partner up and buy it. First, Trump was going to just close it down. Oh, I don't know how he has the power to do that, but he was going to close it down.
The president can just say no app for you.
Yeah, no app for you. I don't know. I don't understand that. And then next, he said, I won't close it down if you sell to an American company.
But isn't that the angle that he took? He took like a security thing. Is that his angle?
Yeah, everyone's convinced that China is data mining all these dumb young teenagers across the U.S. on TikTok.
There's so much info to get from Holly.
I know. I don't know what you're getting from Holly, but good luck.
Too many words.
You know who else is on TikTok, by the way? Courtney and her boyfriend. She was on their bitching today. I make a video, I get 50 likes. 1,000 or Corey, whatever his fucking name is, he makes one because 1,500 people to like it. I go, I'm like, oh, okay. I go, don't you work in a weed shop? Just take a video of your Willy Wonka weed shop. You'll get 20,000 views as soon as you do that. She's like, oh, I don't know. I'm like, oh, whatever. Anyway, so TikTok is now, Microsoft has backed out. And now TikTok has found a way where they're going to sell a portion of their company to Oracle of all people, and they're going to be kind of like partners. They're not going. Oracle's not going to own it all, but TikTok's going to be partners with them somehow.
Here's the crazy part of something like this, right? So Oracle's going to turn around and give all this money, and then the whole world's going to pivot in 6 months and not give two shits about TikTok.
Yeah, I know.
It's the MySpace formula. Like I think it's crazy that no one can predict that, all these companies are going to fight over this bullshit app, and then they're all going to disappear. It's crazy.
Yeah, and then what? After they do the MySpace thing, what? Timberlake's going to buy them too?
Yeah,
he's like, I own MySpace and TikTok.
Great.
So I thought that was funny. I like to keep an update on TikTok just to screw with my daughter. What were you going to say, Bill?
Well, Walmart is also part of this deal, apparently, that Trump signed off on, and that combined, Walmart and Oracle will have up to a 20% share in TikTok. So I think it's going to be limited only to sort of controlling, although Trump has claimed it's controlling. I'm not sure it actually will control, but it will be limited just to the United States version of it or the portion of it. And I think that the key is that Oracle is going to host all U.S. user data, which will eliminate the national security concerns that they have about China's data mining and other issues. But it's not like they're buying TikTok by any stretch.
All right. So weird situation with TikTok.
I'm still just not.
I
into it.
don't understand it. I don't get it. It's a bunch of unfunny videos. I whatever. So Charles, well, I should ask Bill because he's more of a CBS guy than you are. Bill, did you ever watch the show Mom?
Yeah, my wife loves it. I don't get into it.
Who is the
I do-
mom? It's the actress. She was in the
She was on she was on Private Parts too. What's her name? Yeah, she's fantastic.
Anna Faris?
No, the
Oh,
other girl.
Mom.
Talking about what is her name?
Yeah, she.
Allison Janney.
Allison Janney, yeah.
So she's a fantastic actress.
Anna Faris and Allison Janney. Anna Faris played the daughter. Allison Janney played the mother. Well, Anna Faris has left the show recently, right before the new season is going to start. So
that's Mrs. X Chris Pratt before he
Yes,
got with the
yes.
Schwarzenegger. Yeah.
So apparently she has other offers to do other things, and she no longer wants to be on the sitcom. And this is another Chuck Lowry sitcom.
Is it?
Why do people just hate working for this guy? I don't know. So
It's got a lot of sitcoms. Though.
but they say the show, I haven't watched the show, but primarily the star of the show is Allison Janney, so they're just going to go ahead with her and just keep it going. I don't know how they're going to write the daughter off. Maybe she goes into rehab or something.
She got hit in a
Yeah.
car accident.
Yeah, so.
Apparently, they haven't decided how they're going to do that yet, or they haven't announced how they're going to do it.
So a major character on the show, Anna Faris, famous for the scary movies 1 through 100, however many they made of that. Also famous for being married to Chris Pratt.
Yeah, that's how I know her.
But she's been in a lot of movies. If you look her up on IMDb, she's been in a lot of stuff.
Like that
She's been around a while now. If you think about it.
College Bunny movie. She was
Yeah,
in,
yeah. So she's off the show, and just Allison Janney now is pretty much going to be the star. It's almost like if Mike and Molly and the guy who plays Mike just left. You know, but it is what it is. So there we go. Now, Charles, are you familiar with the 70s show Good Times?
I actually love Good Times. I don't know what it is. That show tickles me, and I love J.J. Walker, Bookman. I can keep going on Michael, all of it. Dude, I love that show.
And are you familiar with Seth MacFarlane?
Yes, I love Seth MacFarlane. Family Guy, Cleveland Show.
So this is a match made in heaven for you.
It is completely.
They are going to make a Good Times animated show of rebooted on Netflix, made by Seth MacFarlane.
I just hope that, in my opinion, that it's not super woke. I hope it's just meant to be funny. Is all I hope.
Do you want it to be Good Times back in the 70s or Good Times now?
I want it to be Good Times in the 70s. Like, I love Good Times. I think that there's enough stuff in there.
I have a feeling they're going to do it like present day.
I don't know. I like Seth MacFarlane.
And is J.J. Walker going to be involved somehow? He's still alive. He needs to be a part of it.
know,
Half the cast is dead, so I don't.
Yeah.
What? Apparently, Alexa likes Good Times as well.
Yeah, wow.
All right.
Bill, any thoughts on an animated Good Times?
Good Times is one of my probably 4 or 5 favorite sitcoms of all time. Love Good Times.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah, I'm with Charles on this. I hope they don't use this as some sort of a platform to try to make some sort of a statement, to try to make it, as Charles is saying, too woke. I'm not interested in seeing Good Times in the current, the present time. It's definitely, like, looking back on it, it fits that particular period, and it's hilarious. I almost kind of would just rather not screw with it, leave it alone.
I may say something controversial right now, but I like What's Happening better.
I like What's Happening.
Rerun was my man.
I like it.
And Shirley.
No.
Like, What's Happening?
I thought that was the better show. But anyways, I would almost say Jefferson's also, but
There's a lot of those sitcoms that
Yeah.
are funny as shit.
oh, yeah,
Good Times is
Sanford and
with
Son,
that
that was up there too. Sanford and Son was great. Lamont, you big dummy. Anyways, so let's see how this goes. I'd like 8 episodes, 8 tight episodes. Let's not try to do 23 or whatever a full thing is.
We'll see.
It's
I don't
good.
know. I'll
Netflix
give it a
usually
shot.
doesn't. Yeah, so hopefully it's good. Now, this news I put on here for Charles because it's his boy, but John Oliver has been renewed on HBO for 3 more seasons.
I can't wait. My only complaint is he takes so much goddamn time off. It drives me mental. He's been off right now for like 3 weeks. I think he's supposed to come back tonight or maybe next. I don't know, man. I love John Oliver. He is the way. Anything he tells me to do, I do. I got his stamps up there. Everything about Last Week Tonight is so good. It is one of the best shows, if not the best show on television. I love it. And so there's 2 things that I am. I'm a John Oliver guy, and I've always been a Conan guy. Those are my 2 favorite, like, as far as anything those 2 guys do, I'm just into. They both I just can't get enough.
And here's a cheat code for our listeners that don't have HBO. Most of his big segments are posted on YouTube the next day. So that's how I catch up with him every week. I just watch him on
literally,
YouTube.
at this point, I keep HBO pretty much for John Oliver at this point. I am that big of a fan of his show. I can't even put into words like how much when that show's on, I just tune out the world. I love it. He's got such a good way of not only being self-deprecating to himself and it's just
I want him to
good.
have his old studio back, though. I'm not enjoying the big white void.
What are you
but
gonna do,
yeah.
though? Yeah, I mean, it's COVID.
Bill, do you like John Oliver? You ever seen the show?
I'm going to confess that I've never seen the show.
Go to YouTube. You can see every show you ever
It's
watch.
so good. It's so smart. He's so smart and just everything about it, and just like he does the funniest shit when he bought like that weird jock strap from the movie Cinderella Man. It's like just he sent it to the last Blockbuster. He's in a beef right now with a bad Connecticut town and stuff. It's just so funny, man.
He was a writer for the Daily Show.
Yep.
Jon Stewart was right.
Yep.
I don't know. I'm not a big Daily Show guy.
He
That was
was.
never my
I
thing.
think he was one of
That's
the
where he got his
main writers for that show back in the day.
God, I love Last Week Tonight. It just
I'll check it out.
it is just pitch perfect for me. I can't explain it, man. It's just one of my favorite shows.
Yeah. So John Oliver, 3 more seasons on HBO. Now, this next one, every once in a while I listen to a show or whatever, and I learn something new. I never knew this, and maybe you guys did. The song, Thank You for Being a Friend, you know, Down the Road and Back Again from the Golden Girls. Remember that show? That song was not made for the show. That song,
No, it's an Andrew Gold song.
well, of course Bill would know it, but I never knew this. In 1978, there was a singer that made that song in 1978, and it was his song. It was a top 25 hit, and just years later, they repurposed it for the Golden Girls. I always thought that song was made for the...
You just told me something I didn't know.
Yeah.
I didn't know that either.
Bill, you knew that?
I did. In fairness, though, the Golden Girls version is about 15 times better than the original. Yeah, it wasn't.
Let me flip back the camera to Steve stinking his shade.
But yeah, I never knew this. It was
I
on.
didn't
It was
either.
on Dave and Chuck the
Yeah,
Freak.
you just told me something I didn't know.
They played it's a guy singing. He wears like a white suit tux like thing. So maybe after the podcast we'll look it up and you'll get a
Yeah,
laugh
check it
out
out.
of it. But Bill knew it. Shocking. Bill knows random music trivia, sports trivia, and music trivia. Bill's all about it. But I did
One
not
of the
know
only
that.
things I know anything about in my entire life.
Yeah, well, I would do it with comics, but music and sports is BV. So there you go. The Golden Girls song is not original for the show. Not, I mean, the guy obviously gave rights and everything.
No, I
It's
know,
not like
I
they stole
just-
it from the guy. But,
I get you, but I
but it
didn't
kind of
know.
blows your
Probably
mind.
made more money off the show than he ever did as an artist doing anything else.
Yeah, because I don't think he has too many hits outside of that. The next news movie we already talked about, South Park Pandemic Special, September 30th. I didn't know I wrote it down, so there you go. And now this is the big one we got to talk about today.
Okay.
Now, back in January and February, we sat on this couch. I sat around 500. You said, no fucking way,
Yeah,
you're
I
crazy.
know. And I steadfast that if Microsoft didn't come out with that original number, that Sony number would have been a hell of a lot higher. I'm telling I know.
Touche, Microsoft.
Yeah.
I'm telling you right
They
now.
fucked Sony good and hard with that.
Dude, I'm telling you. Someone at Sony's going, what the fuck? How did you get that? And I bet you Microsoft is willing to eat the number to get you in the platform, is what I think is
Yeah.
happening. And that messed all Sony shit up. There's no
So
doubt.
what we're talking about is the PlayStation 5 came out with their price announcement this past week. $499 for the one that probably everyone wants with the disc drive and all the features. Then you can get a digital one with no disc drive for $399.
I gotta tell you, the one thing that and they talked about it again. One of my great shows I love, the Bombcast. They talked about it. No one's discussing the lack of hard drive space in these digital editions. So, like, if you get a handful of these next gen games with these massive graphics,
Yeah,
and
for instance, the new Call of Duty is over 150 gigs.
yeah, like, what are you gonna do with these? So these digital editions are only coming with like a couple terabytes. And it's like, this is crazy. You're gonna fill that up so fast. I don't know. I had a conversation with a guy at work, and because he knows that we're pretty knowledgeable about what we talk about here, and I told him, I go, the money you would save by buying an older disc game, like when you see like a game maybe you didn't play initially, and you could finally go and pick it up. We always talk about it. The discounts never happen on the digital store.
No.
But the old, like the disc copies, you can get pretty cheap.
Go to
So
GameStop.
you would save the difference to buy the extra one with the drive in it. To me, there's no doubt in my mind you'd want the one with the drive in it.
Yeah.
I
Today
don't
we
know.
had that yard sale, and I had a bunch of old Maddens and NBAs, and I just said, put $5 on them and sell them. So whoever came in to that yard sale got a bunch of video games for $5.
Yeah.
You ain't finding a digital game
that
for
shit don't
$5. Not a
exist,
AAA
man.
game, anyways.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe a little Tetris from 1988 or something, but yeah.
So share with the world, like you've talked about it before in the past. Your game plan for the next gen is, go ahead.
I'm going to eventually get a PS5 sometime next year. After I want some more releases. Basically, when God of War hits, I'm probably going to get a God of War Edition PS5 because that's supposed to come out next year. Even though they had no trailer, all they had was a logo.
Yeah, super generic.
I was like, I don't know about that, and then of course I bought the PC, my gaming PC, and I have Ultimate Game Pass on that, so I'm playing everything there on that. As far as Xbox goes, and from what I understand, it's all being released on PC as well. And I'm just going to get a PS5 to play their exclusives, which is Spider-Man, God of War, stuff like that. Also, I can play my online games on the PC for free. I don't have to buy PlayStation Plus or the Xbox Live.
Yeah.
Which is, I'm amazed that's still free. But
yeah, until they catch wind of that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So that's my strategy anyways.
For me, it's going to come down to I'm going to get that itch when that new Halo comes out. I know it. I can't did that. Something about that game it's like John Oliver video
I
game.
should be able to play that on my PC, allegedly.
Yeah, I don't know, man. And I know that's going to be a tipping point for me. I'm
not going over to be that little square box.
Yeah, like, dude, I had to get that new Halo. Gotta get that Halo, man. And I'm gonna want the digital edition of the Xbox is even worse. Yeah, because it can't even do the 4. So they're claiming the Sony's gonna have the same graphical power between the two consoles, and basically the only thing that's different is the optical drive.
So you're paying $100 for an optical drive.
Yeah. So I don't know. Like I know me, and
the one bone move Xbox did do though is they're claiming that like it's a proprietary
hard drive.
Yeah. So you just can't go buy a generic one at the store.
That's the issue. So with that lacking, and so I don't know why anyone would buy that digital edition. It just seems crazy.
So PlayStation 5 Showcase came out. I'm assuming you know all the games that came out for it. Any game
lack their game. Oh,
yeah. Any game tickle your taint that you makes you want to get.
The only one that would pique my interest is kind of what you just touched on was the God of War game. But like you said, they didn't release anything. The new God of War for PS4 looks amazing when you play it and stuff like that.
I love that game.
I'm sure there's a little more head end room that they could use a little more horsepower and stuff like that, like at next level, even another next level polish. But I don't know.
And Miles Morales for me, but I found out that's another thing Sony kind of did in the download
of the package.
Yeah, the Miles Morales, the New Horizon, all that is also going to be available on PS4.
Oh,
originally they said it wasn't, and now they are. So. Now why do I got to rush? I get a PS5. Yeah. The 2 games I want to play, I can get this Christmas. It's no big deal.
You're not even able to find it anyway. They're going to be lacking in consoles.
Yeah.
I think.
Well, they say all the pre-sales are gone. It was like a real clusterfuck how they did it. Yeah. Bill, any interest in PS5? Or are you done after this one?
No, I think I'm going to get whatever enjoyment there is left for me to get out of PS4, and then when that's done, I'm going to just accept the fact that I'm old. I'm going to put the whole console gaming thing in the past, and I'm not putting any more money into consoles or any other game systems. But then again, I was never really a gamer in the first place, so.
Yeah. Until that Halo comes out.
Our nephew Christopher, he's all in on Xbox Series X. He wants that.
What's his basis? Did he give you any points?
He loves Xbox. He has Xbox now. He has the Xbox One, and he just loves it, so that's what he wants for Christmas.
The Ultimate Game Pass stuff is a great value.
Actually, I don't think he uses that.
It's much to the point of the Planet Fitness is a great value. Mm-hmm. Ultimate Game Pass is a great value, people.
Christopher's a lot like us when we were younger. He's strict sports, Madden, 2K1. That's pretty much. He does have the Mortal Kombat, but a little. He's more casual.
If you got a PlayStation though, couldn't you get the baseball that you couldn't get? And
but he's young, and anyone under the age of 50 don't give a shit about baseball, except for BV. Billy, are you all right?
No, baseball at this point, I do play it every once in a while now, but baseball, I think, as a national sport, has fallen somewhere between the NHL and Major League Soccer. Yeah. People just don't care anymore.
Are you all right? I see you rocking back and forth up there. Are you okay there?
Yeah, I'm all right.
He's buzzed up on that.
We drink a whole bottle of cognac.
I'm waiting for this to wrap up because nature is calling. So.
Oh, okay.
You can go ahead and dip, baby. Don't worry about it.
That's all right.
And we're on our last news thing too. Now the other one I like to always inform people on almost as much as TikTok because we had Scott from the Float Institute in. He was the only person I knew.
He had a DC app.
Yeah. DC Universe app is now officially dead.
Oh.
They're taking all the movies, shows, and TV off of it. But it's still going to be there. They're going to rebrand it as DC Infinite. And what it is going to be access. You pay comic book. It's all comic books. So $7 a month.
But I thought, isn't there a big Comixology or something like that?
Yeah, Comixology, yep. And Comixology gives you access to Marvel, Image, and everybody else too, not just DC.
Wouldn't you rather
The
do
problem
the
with
Comixology?
no,
I don't
I'll tell you the
understand
problem.
Okay.
So DC Infinite is putting all their back shit from DC on there. So you can read Superman 1 all the way through Superman 400 if you want.
Is that something you'd
Comixology
want to, let me
doesn't
ask a question,
have that.
Steve. Is that something you could see yourself ever doing? Realistically, do you think you could sit down and just bang out like an old Batman series? You're cool with that?
Here's my problem. The ones I want to read, I've already read. So I'm not. Unlike movies where I could go back and watch Star Wars 87 times.
It's hard to reread a comic.
I don't
book.
reread comics that much. I'm not that kind of guy. I mean, some people are, but I would use it more for the new stuff that I'm not aware of. But at the same time,
how much are we talking?
Well, the DC Infinite's $7 a month, and Comixology has an unlimited. It's like $15 a month. But I found out because I had a free trial. There's actually 3 services: Marvel Unlimited, which is all Marvel comics, and that's like $10 a month. DC Infinite's going to be $7, and Comixology is like I think $15. But Comixology doesn't have a lot. So Comixology, like Amazing Spider-Man, they'll have Amazing Spider-Man number 360 through
I
380.
gotta tell you though,
And it's not like you can't just sit down and read the whole series in Comixology. They only have certain
I get you,
storylines.
but what I'm saying is like, if you're truly a comic book fan, right?
Which are very few and far between these days.
Sure, I agree. But what I'm saying is, if you're into those stories and you find them intriguing and you like whatever, $30 a month for all 3 services is probably cheaper than what you'd pay if you went and bought them in physical copies.
Yeah, if you had a pull box at a comic shop.
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt. A pull box? What's a pull box? They pull your issues aside.
So, like the comic shop by my house, I can walk in and talk to that guy with the weird teeth and be like, listen, I want
X, Y, and Z.
Yeah, I want Batman, Superman, Hawkeye, and Avengers each month. Put them in my box. And once a month, I'll go in, give him $30-$40 and take my comics.
Have you ever done that?
No.
I was like, I don't remember you guys ever doing that.
I'm not stuck on one series as much. A lot of other people are. That will guarantee you number ones, too. So you can go in and say, hey, anything with Batman comes out this month, I want it in my box. But the problem is they put Batman in 752 different comics. Be like, you owe $1,000. It's like, fuck. It's almost like having a tab at a bar in a way.
Is there still like legit comic shops at this point in 2020?
There's one still by my house. There's that one.
Yeah, that's really crappy. I mean,
it is kind of crappy. There's one down on Ford Road by the Hobby Lobby there in Canton. It's a nice one. Comic City, it's called. There's still A to Z comic on Ford Road.
What is it? Green Brain is still over here in Dearborn, too.
Yeah, I don't know if they're open. I know Comics Archive's closed.
Yeah?
And Big Ben's still cracking. So we got 5 or 6 around us. So if I was really to get back into it, there is a Juggernaut. I stay on top of it, but I don't. I'm such a loser. But there's a Juggernaut series, a mini series coming out. I kind of want it, but the art's not the greatest in it. But I love Juggernaut. That's one of my favorite characters. I'm an old school Juggernaut fan.
Hold on, let's check on BB. BB, are you relieved? Did you go to the bathroom?
Yeah, I had to piss something kind of bad. So
cognac went right through.
Yeah, I'm just glad. We're just checking.
Well, I had that with I had like 3 glasses of that with Coke, and then I also had like the better part of a bottle of water. So it had to go.
There was a news report about Fiji, the island of Fiji. Now, I only thought about it because Bill always drinks Fiji water, but it's nothing to do with the Fiji water. So I guess it's a big area for children sex trafficking and stuff like that. And like people,
why are you always talking about sex trafficking?
I don't know. It just comes up on my news feeds all the time.
Sex trafficking.
It's my wife. She always knows about it.
Weird.
So
like
by
obsession
by
with
living
sex
with her, I get to know.
Weird.
Only reason I thought about it because Bill drinks Fiji water. I'm like, Bill's water's got sex trafficking.
What the hell's BB's water? First of all, BB's Fiji water was bottled in Pennsylvania.
Yeah. They slapped a Fiji logo on it.
They filtered it through Fijian
they used the guard
marsh or something. Yeah, what are you doing?
I have no actual illusion that it's actual water from Fiji, but
but comic shops are dying. But you can still find a handful. The one thing you can't find anymore are card shops. They're all gone. I haven't seen a card shop in years. I couldn't tell you. R&D went out. Comics Archives, it was half card shop. I don't even think those exist anymore. There might
do
be.
They still even make new cards?
They do.
Like, can you go? Okay.
There's a huge wall still at Target when you go in there. And stuff like that.
But it's a lot of Magic the Gathering, a lot of Pokemon, a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh. But there's still baseball and sports ones too.
Yeah. Upper Deck's still around. and all that.
Transformers just put a big card game. It's not a card game.
I don't know. Anyone check on Fleer or Dunross? Are they doing anything?
Yeah, I don't know if they're still around.
BD, research Fleer and Dunross. See if they're still around.
I'll take a look.
How about O-Peachy and Pinnacle? See if those are around too.
You just realize how much stuff you liked as a kid are kind of just like niche markets, and they've kind of disappeared.
Man, yeah.
They've all kind of died. And it's like, oh,
I think in due time. There's a great documentary on Netflix about the card market, and kind of they did that to themselves. You know what I mean? Like with the way that they did the Ken Griffey rookie cards and all that kind of stuff. That weird inflation that happened. And can I still get a Beckett magazine that gives me the price value of everything too?
No, the thing that confuses me about comic shops though are these fucking movies are making 10, 20 billion a fucking movie, and the comics and stuff are struggling. It's like you think they would have.
It's probably mass appeal though. Like so, in other words, there's probably a lot of people who would go and see like a movie who wouldn't go in to set foot into a comic shop.
And you also think about the generations, right? So like Dad knew Superman back in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, but he'll watch a Superman movie, but he's not gonna turn around and go to a comic shop and buy some Superman comics.
I think it's just I think that books and because like all those bookstores are closing down and all that. I think people just consume that kind of media in general. I guess you'd argue a lot differently than they ever have. So.
Yeah. All right. Well, there's a look at
The record.
What'd you say?
I was starting this research and requested Fleer actually went defunct in 2005.
Wow.
But Upper Deck acquired the rights to the Fleer name and started producing cards with the Fleer name in it. But the last Fleer branded baseball cards appeared in 2007.
Dang. Wow.
I'll check Dunruss next, and then I'll check Beck.
Dunruss.
Find out how much a Mike Mattingly rookie cards worth from Dunross.
You mean John Mattingly?
Yeah, I don't know what I'm talking about.
You're stepping in the sports world, Bill.
Yeah.
All right, so that's going to wrap us up for this week. Of course, we got Bill's new lock of the week. Make sure you go out and put your house payment on it. We had new movies. We had some cognac. We had it all. So in a couple of weeks, we're going to give you some Mafia love. All three of us, apparently. That should be interesting. Get everyone's take on that. And then we'll, of course,
midnight mass.
cover the NHL finals and everything else that's happening. Maybe we'll get some alcohol popsicles. I don't know. We'll work on that. Maybe or some other things. I'm almost tempted. I've seen incognito commercials. Have you seen those?
I don't know what that is.
Burgers. It's vegetable based, and they've been advertising the hell out of them lately. Called Incognito. You buy the patties, you cook them.
Incognito, you mean?
I don't know. Maybe it's the green package.
Yeah, it's incognito.
Yeah. Okay. I didn't know the meat powder. I just caught it in passing. So maybe we'll make some fresh veggie burgers.
Oh, we're gonna grill up and then,
yeah, we'll grill them up and put them out here. I don't know.
BB's gonna have a Foreman grill next to him in Chicago.
All right, so of course you can catch us on Apple iTunes, Google Play, and FatGuysLittlePodcast.com. You can catch us also on Spotify, home in the Joe Rogan podcast. Yeah. We're on there as well.
Your presidential moderator.
Yeah. So, and of course, make sure you check out that debate because we all got to get our opinions on that because that's going to be funny. Anything else you want to add?
No, I'm good.
All right, so until next time, this is Steve.
And Charles.
And check you next time.